Welcome back, shifters, dreamers, multidimensional beings within this hyperdelic matrix. This is Brendon. Thank you so much for tuning in to another very exciting, educational, and inspirational live broadcast through ParadigmShiftCentral.com. Your real-world interactive game to be able to help assist with the shift in consciousness. And of course, you're tuned in for another very, very fun Dream Class episode that we got here tonight with some amazing shifters worldwide, people who are intentionally helping assist with the shift. And yeah, this is going to be a good one. We'll go over some of the basic introductions. We're going to be having a lot of new people tuned in for this broadcast, people who are going to be connecting in for the first time. So if it is your first time, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your support. Thank you for being a part of this bigger story as we continue to level up within this game and yeah, continue to bring more consciousness into it. So before we even get into the just like the general overview of what to be able to expect from tonight, I just want to be able to give a huge shout out to my fellow shifters who are with us here in this circle on the broadcast, on air, in the roundtable. So we currently got myself, Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, aka Wolf Shield, and Patty, and Yuga, and John Walker. So I'm just going to pull these guys' mics up real quick, and guys, let's just make some noise, say hello, send a little love out to the people tuned in there. Nothing too crazy, please. We're all shifters. Whoop, 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 whoop. Any real words are also work too. So oh, there's Turner too. Cool. All right, guys, let's try that again, guys. Let's get pumped and let's make some noise. Whoop, whoop, whoop. All right, you guys are weird. I love it. Perfect. Thank you guys so much for being here. Again, like I said, this is a Dream Class broadcast. So what you're going to be able to expect from tonight's broadcast is oh, and for people in the 1111, let's just get an 11. Let's just get a people in the live chat, drop an 1111 on the oh, okay, there's no audio on Facebook apparently. So is you guys, yeah, drop an 1111 in the live chat on YouTube if you guys can confirm that there is like that things are sounding okay. Apparently there may be like a tone pitch or something that's causing a bit of an issue, so I just want to be able to get that resolved as soon as possible. And I'm actually just going to have to restart the Facebook live stream before we even officially kick off. So before we even get into the initial introductions, this is just a quick reminder to be able to always tune in on YouTube opposed to Facebook. Facebook is not the primary way in which we broadcast, but we do have the courtesy of being able to rebroadcast it through Facebook, but like I said, I have to just literally rebroadcast this onto Facebook by clicking a couple buttons, and hopefully that works. So yeah, Amanda in the live chat, keep an eye on it and let me know if you guys are picking it up on the Facebook, and we'll sort that out as we keep going. So thank you again. Sounds like, is there, so sorry, are we confirming, is there audio feed, like is there something wrong with the mic? Because normally there's not, and that's never really been an issue before, and if that is, then might have to do a quick tech thingamajig just to be able to get that sorted out. But nonetheless, I'll just kind of give a brief introduction until we can confirm whether or not there's like issue with the microphone, which again, sorry for the technical stuff. We have been doing this for a while, and that's not something that we normally have to deal with, but we'll get it sorted out for your own convenience, those of you listening. So, Paradigm Shift Dream Class, what it is, we are creating a safe, conscious community discussion to be able to have the topics brought up related to dreams, lucid dreaming, related to consciousness, related to metaphysics, related to dimensions, related to what it means to be a multidimensional being within this holographic matrix, as we've said. So, okay, so we are just getting confirmation. We can hear you great besides the tone. Okay, so that's weird. I want to figure out what this tone sounds like. So I'm actually just going to listen in on stuff while also multitasking. But at the same time, I'm going to pass the microphone around the circle as we also get this figured out. Because, oh wow, that's a huge tone. Wow, geez, guys, I'm sorry. I don't know why that's causing that. Okay, I'm gonna pass this over to Patty, and Patty's gonna introduce himself, and hopefully by the time I come back, that tone will be resolved. So sorry about that, guys. I don't know why that's happening. So Patty, I'm gonna pass the talking stick over to you, and you're gonna share a little bit about what brings you to Dream Class and why the topic of dreams is something that's important to you. And then from there, we'll just pass it around the circle, and hopefully by the time it gets back to me, we'll be we'll have it fixed and everything like that. So Patty, I'm gonna pass the talking stick over to you. So do a quick hello mic check.
Should be good. Am I good?
Yeah, it's good, man. All right, go right ahead. And sorry, guys, thank you for
Awesome,
your
awesome.
patience. So, Patty, go right ahead, man. It's all you.
Well, dreams are quite an abstract concept. I love to delve deep into them. It's a way for you to be able to, well, for me personally, I think dreams are a way that we can plan our days because in the past I've had dreams happen and occur and then lived the same or as a day or two later, had premonitions, um, like to an extent. Uh, put me on the spot here, Brendon. To be honest, not really got anything written down. Also, to the extent where dreams allow you to explore the complete, massive, like the unknown of space and time. Uh, I think my fear of death was completely removed from dreaming as well. That's quite an amazing thing to experience, like waking up twice from a dream. That's funny. Going to you know going to sleep somewhat maybe more than once and waking up fewer times, going to sleep more than once and waking up fewer times, and just delving into rabbit holes. It's quite an abstract, wonderful like feature that we have as conscious beings to be able to use DMT within our pineal gland to actually be able to explore this vast expanse of complete infinity and also nothingness at the same time. How are you doing, Brendan? We maybe good to go, or do you want to pass the stick on
That's
to
good, Patty.
whoever's going
As
next?
I'm replying to you now, we are just gonna check the audio levels. If people in the live chat can confirm whether or not it's better, let me know. But I'm listening to the feedback anyway. I'm listening to the playback anyway, so I'll be able to find out for myself in a second. I just had to like change the USB port, so hopefully that fixed it. But we'll just give it like 2 more seconds as the feed catches up for itself, and then I will be able to confirm. Sweet. All right, we did it. All right, problem solved. Just plugged it into the wrong USB port, so it's all good. Sweet. Thank you guys. Sorry about that. That will never, ever, ever happen again. Jeez. Okay, sorry, Patty. I was half listening there. I'll be honest. But do you want to? I can just like pass it back to you, real quick. If there's like any just sort of like real summary that you just want to even just share, again, real quick, Patty.
Uh,
So you're here for Dream Class
Possibly.
because you're here to master yourself. That's correct, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's more to do with the fact that you can use dreams to allow yourself to be able to live in the best way possible. To be honest, that's what I think, like, and believe from all my experiences. A lot of days that have had to be quite a few days I've had in my life that have had to be relived over and over and over again until I've played the day the correct way, to a certain extent. And that's what you get when you come to this reality is the ability to, you know, just kind of load games from save data like checkpoints. As glitchy as that sounds, guys, and as flipping, spoilery as that is, but yeah, have fun with
Cool.
that little glitch info, I guess.
Cool, man. That's good. Awesome. Well, Patty, thank you again for being here, and I appreciate you coming to the roundtable. So much
No
love, brother.
worries. Pleasure to be here, guys,
Awesome.
and holding
Sweet.
space.
Holding space.
I may kind of I don't know, point my camera up this direction and
Yeah,
like
if you need
sleep
to
for
take
a
a
while.
nap
So
or if you need a dream during dream class, absolutely, dude. That's totally encouraged. So Patty's in the UK for those of you who couldn't have guessed. So, all right, man. Cool. All right, Patty, I'm just going to bring your mic down. We'll hear from you in a little bit if you're still awake. So, again, I just want to take a moment here just to give a quick, again, just allow me to welcome you to this circle without any weird audio stuff going on in the background. And allow me just clarify a bit of the intention behind why it is that we do these broadcasts. So, within the Paradigm Shift Central project, for those of you who may be entirely new, what it is, we are building a global team of shifters, people who are actively helping assist with the shift in consciousness. We're creating physical paradigm shift community meetups, events where people can invite people to be a part of open-minded discussion and meditation circles, and this is something that anybody can create where they are. There's a bunch of paradigm shift communities worldwide. We started this project as a single club in my college back in 2009. It's been growing ever since. There's more to the project. It is about creating conscious media. It is about encouraging people to document the shift. It is about, again, as I said, really, as the team captain, as a facilitator for this project, my job, my intention is to be able to help create community, to be able to help create support, to be able to help create inspiration, and to be able to help create the space and the story for us to continue to develop our own self-mastery through our own self-discovery and through this exploration of questions as we continue to connect the dots. That's how this universe works, our place within it, and also, most importantly, our potential as well to be able to co-create this dream in a very literal sense, thinking of the physical reality as an extension of the sleeping dream state. So just for my own personal energy that I want to be able to bring into this broadcast, I've been feeling really great overall, and being able to talk about dreams and everything like that is something that I'm always fascinated in. Again, we want to be able to create this space to be able to provide you, the listener, with value, be it through inspiration by people telling their stories, through practical tips and interesting perspectives. And again, just by being able to invite you to be a part of this conversation, and for you guys to be able to hang out in the live chat, for you guys to be able to connect this community, and for you to be able to develop the connection to community that's going to help all of us to become more accountable as we continue to develop together. So again, we are so much more than this physical body. Deep within inside of us, not even super deep, it's like right there ready for us to access, but it goes very deep, is this infinitely rich holographic space. What are dreams? We were talking about this in the past broadcast. They're almost like this advanced form of spiritual technology, is one way that we like to think of them. They are there for a purpose. Again, this is just ideas, think for yourself. They are there for the reason to help accelerate the growth of our soul, so that way we are learning within the waking state, within the physical reality, and we are learning within the dream state simultaneously. And this is leveling us up, this is opening us up to new experiences, this is connecting us back to source, and again, really allowing us to just know more about who we are while continuing to be of service to others through the ongoing process of figuring out like what our bigger story is and our place within it. So before we dive right back into the conversation, I just want to mention a couple quick things related to the community. We've been making some big momentum over the past little bit, so I just want to give a huge shout out again to those of you who may be new to the community. There's been a lot of one-to-one connections that we've been building. More people are getting involved, more people are getting connected. There's been a lot of people who I've been inviting to this personally, the project in general, as well as this broadcast, and they've been like, whoa, I've been looking for something like this. This is like literally like I was looking for something like this. So if that's a person like you, then welcome aboard. You have found it. We have found each other. And again, that's no coincidence, right? It was just a matter of time. So if you aren't already yet, this is an invitation for people listening to this broadcast live and afterwards. So be sure to connect to our team Discord channel. This is really something that we're bringing a lot more life into right now, and where the ongoing discussions through these broadcasts are going to continue. So if you haven't already yet, be sure to connect to our Discord channel at tinyurl.com/paradigm shift chat, url.com/paradigm shift chat, and just putting that into the chat on YouTube as well. And basically through there, it is like an ongoing discussion. Oh, I can't even do that. Okay, I just have to copy it into the chat, but you guys have to fill in the dot between the L and the com. So you guys get to do that. You'll figure it out. So anyways, and I'm just going to go over this real quick. We're going to get right back into the dream topics. But again, the the Discord server. Discord is like a chat server. They use it commonly for video games. This project, we approach it in the sense of gamification, leveling up, getting engaged. That is the purpose, that is the intention, that is how you play. The Discord server has a lot of life in it now, and we are inviting people to get involved there. We got lots of channels for you guys to be able to talk about different things, as well as the dream discussion chat as well. So be sure to jump in there afterwards if you aren't already yet. Another thing that we're just going to give a quick mention to is a huge thank you to everybody who's been supporting recently on Patreon, and those of you signing up in the future, and those of you who have already been signed up for quite some time. The Patreon is, again, how we support the project through monthly micro donations by people in the community. When we all give a little, we all give a lot. And you can check the numbers on screen right now. You will see that we are currently at 145 active donators, 871 monthly earnings. If you've been tuned in the past couple of weeks, you'll notice that is a huge jump. We've literally gone up 33 new active donators within this month, and a lot of that has been from just like one-to-one connections, providing valuable content through Instagram, and again, just being able to invite people to be a part of this community. So there's a lot of value in what it is that we are creating here as a community. So thank you again for everyone for helping create that value and for being a part of it. And if you haven't yet, there's lots of other stuff on the main website, including the past Dream Class broadcasts, which you can all find at live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, as well as even the Journey to Lucidity movies, which again are all about dream relations and things like that, will taking place at the Lucidity Festival in California. You can find that through my YouTube channel as well. So last thing I'll mention, We'll refresh the Patreon a little bit into this episode, probably maybe like a halfway through or an hour in or whatever. So for people watching this broadcast, again, if you're digging what it is that we're providing for the community, if you enjoy what this is, then you can contribute to the Patreon with a monthly micro donation, and in return get your Shifter Booster Kit, which are your shift buttons, your free hug signs, and your Light Guardian Crystal, which I'll just hold on screen real quick. And again, thank you everyone for being a part of this. Let's continue to get more Patreon people signed up. Literally, part of the intention behind this is that Patreon is going to keep going up and up and up. And as that does, we're going to be able to put those funds right back into the community. We're going to be able to pay you guys for your contributions to the project by submitting quest journals and conscious articles. We are building a conscious media company in a sense. So if you want to work with us, then know that the Patreon is going to continue to grow so that we can be able to support each other as conscious artists and creators. So we'll refresh that a little bit later, and we're aiming for 150 as our next milestone. So add your monthly micro donation, get your first Shifter Booster Kit, and continue in supporting in whatever way you can. Equally appreciated in whatever way you're supporting. So thank you everyone for being here. So moving back into specific topic of dreams and everything like that, there are a couple things that I wanted to be able to talk about tonight related to dreams. Again, I'm really focused in on the topic of self-mastery right now. And again, dreams are like something that really develop a discipline within us. If we want to really get into making the most of our dream experience, it requires discipline. It requires changing our habits. It requires really being honest with like how it is that we are showing up. And now, truth be told, like even within the last week, like my dreams in terms of kind of like how much I remember can kind of fluctuate depending on how busy I am on my day-to-day life, or just even my conscious will to put the focus in on them. But I think one thing that I like want to be able to just like bring up within this broadcast is a couple topics in particular. And we don't have to talk about this right now, but I'm just going to plant the seeds for them. I want to talk about the idea of energy cultivation and how that actually affects like dream processes, as well as like self-mastery in general. Specifically, like even like the sexual energy cultivation. This is something that a lot of people like may not even be entirely aware of. It's not something they're really even taught too much about school, but it's basically the idea of like dreams have the potential to become more potent the more you practice like conserving your sexual energy, basically like not like spilling it through orgasm. This works for males more so. How it works for females, it's hard for me to say because again, I'm male, but it is something that I do encourage people to really like think about in terms of knowing that as they continue to cultivate their energy inside them, that energy can be channeled into how we practice dreams. Another thing that I want to be able to talk about within this broadcast was brainwaves, and even just kind of giving a quick recap on like the difference between like alpha, beta, theta, and delta, and even gamma as well, and how that actually relates to the brain state, and just becoming more aware of those brain states, and kind of like being able to know like when we can put ourselves in them, what they are, how we relate to them. And that's something again I'm just really interested in, as well as like sleep patterns and intention. So I'll just say this last part here, and then we'll pass over to I think either John or Yuga, whoever wants to go next. And we got a couple other players here in the game. Thank you guys for joining. One of the things that like, or sorry, damn it, did I lose my train of thought there? I was like, I was in gamma there, but I was like, I pulled myself out of gamma for a second because I got too deep into it. One of the things that I was gonna say in particular, what was I gonna say? Yeah, okay. I'll just say this now. One of the things that I want to be able to remind you guys is that through this discussion, we are exploring the topics, we are exploring the mysteries. Dreams are an ever mysterious thing. And it's an incredibly beautiful opportunity for us to be able to share the experiences that are happening across multiple dimensions. And so when we talk about dreams, as we do within this circle here, as well as when we approach our dreams each night, it's really valuable to be able to like honor them as like something sacred, as something similar to like a psychedelic experience. And notice how like that intention that we carry into them, that sense of reverence, can really affect the way that dreams sort of reciprocate themselves back to us. And I'll just mention one other thing. Yesterday, I put up a post, and it was just like a one of the poetry posts that I put up on my Instagram at Mystic Spider-Man. For those of you who already follow me there, you guys would have seen this. And it was just a little one of my poetry ones, and it was a picture from like Neon Genesis Evangelion, which it's the context of this here isn't entirely important, but the words were very interesting. And it was a picture of like a Mother Goddess character, Rei, for those of you familiar with Evangelion. And it was basically like it said like celestial goddess, creator of worlds, curator of dreams. And then it was like something something like help us grow, help like nurture our souls with your love was kind of the idea. But that idea of curator of dreams really kind of like shifted something inside of me, because I was like, whoa, like what if like we almost kind of like think of this idea that, you know, that is kind of the mystery, is that like how are our dreams being created? There seems to be two parts to it. Part of it where it's like intentionally us creating, as well as the other part of it where it's like we are simply being delivered something. And so it's just kind of like this mental image of thinking of like this like Mother Gaia, some sort of like celestial entity, a higher conscious being whose intention and purpose and job is actually to curate our dreams, meaning that our dreams that come to us are specifically chosen for us for our highest evolution. So it really just kind of like switches something up just a little bit, where instead of it's just like, oh, you know, like these, like sometimes we'll do that where something will happen to us in life and it will stress us out, it will challenge us. But with anything that happens in life from the perspective of self mastery, that stress is like something where you can switch yourself to be like, wow, this is a chance for me to grow, this is a chance for me to learn more about myself and to become even stronger. And so in the same time, sometimes with dreams we'll get those weird dreams where it may be really challenging for us, but even still it's just kind of like realizing that like what if that dream is actually being given to us for that very specific reason, to be able to grow our soul. And I think when you shift that perspective, it can really change things, as well as really open ourselves up, because it's this basic idea that we receive the dreams that we are ready for. And as we work on ourselves within the waking state and everything like that, when we show up in the dream state, things can get like very, very exciting. So within this broadcast tonight, again, I want to be able to get into some practical tips. I want to hear about other people's experience. I want, if anybody here is familiar with like lucid dreaming or has any lucid dreaming stories, please feel free to share those. Again, for people listening to this broadcast, you are more than welcome to join in the hangout as well. We got a good amount of people here tonight. So again, by the time we end this broadcast, let's focus it on more accountability as we continue to level up within this game together as a community, and then continue to become better dreamers within the dream. So that is the intention. So cool, awesome. Thank you guys again so much for being here. Let's pass the talk and stick around, and you guys give me a thumbs up if I'll pass it over to you next. And we'll just do, at this point, let's just do kind of like quick introductions, relatively quick, and then we'll get right into just like general popcorn style free flow discussion. And this is all just practice. So you're gonna pull your microphone up, and when you're ready, go right ahead, dude, and tell us a little bit about, you know, what brings you to dream class, why dreams interest you, and maybe something that you want to talk about a little bit later in the broadcast that you'd like to bring to the table. So go ahead, Yuga.
Yeah, can you hear me? Are we good? Awesome. So I'm Yuga. I am the Dragon Shaman, what brings me to the dream classes? Dreams has always been a very, very profound form of spirituality for, most specifically since I was 9 years old. A lot of stuff happened specifically from a very important dream that ultimately, I believe, led me to my destiny. I've also found myself out to be a dream walker, and I'm still trying to understand what that is. And as far as I can perceive, and from a little bit of guidance that I've been given, um, I exist in between dreams, not just within my own dreams, but there was one night not too long ago, I happened to be in 3 different people's dreams 3 nights, and they were very, very specific dreams. I actually wanted to talk quickly about the lack of dreams. One time I ended up having severe chronic insomnia, or an episode of insomnia, and I ended up being awake for 7 days straight. You could only imagine how much or how intimidating that could be. Honestly, it was very frightening, and I personally realized how important dreams are. Having a break from this crazy, chaotic third dimension, we consciously and cognitively need some imaginative release from that. And then also dreams recently have been very, very important for me because of the relationship I've had with my partner, having the ability to have shared dreams with their profound lucid dreaming talents. And also the dream classes have always been very insightful for me. And I've also learned a lot about the others in the community, and being able to see and perceive and reflect my own experiences off of other people that are doing things a little bit differently and a little bit even better than I would say I am doing for myself. So having a community to build upon and grow with has always been something I've always wanted for myself. And now that we've got the Paradigm Shift Central community going on, and I've been doing the live streams almost weekly for a decent amount of time, the conversation's been getting really, really interesting. Definitely check out the Discord chat. Lots of stuff's been going on every day. Lots of dragon energy recently. And I'll go ahead and cut it off there. But one thing I definitely want to touch upon later, actually, was the theta and the delta waves. Personally, really quickly, I wanted to say the theta waves have been very useful for intense dreaming experiences. I'll listen to theta binaural beats before I sleep sometimes, and I get a lot of clarity the next day. But yeah, go ahead and cover.
Awesome. Sweet. Thank you, Yuga. Thank you for sharing and introducing. So welcome back, dude. Cool. Awesome. All right, we'll pass the talking stick around. I'd love to be able to actually pass it over to John if John would like to go next, and then we can. John, give me a thumbs up if you would like to go next. Cool. So one thing I'll just say real quick, guys, because this will just like even provide like bigger context and everything. You know, like from my own personal perspective, dreams have always been a fascinating topic to me. I feel that the topic of dreams is something anybody can talk about because everybody dreams, and so it is something that, you know, we can all learn about and everything. The key word in this is learning. Now, believe me, I know there's like a lot of you who look to me and they're just like, wow, you know, like Brendon's got a lot of ideas and he's really good at talking and sharing knowledge and doing all of these things in the broadcast and stuff like that. When it comes to these topics, like, yeah, I'm here to lead by example. And honestly, part of that example that I am leading by is to remind you guys that even for me, I'm not perfect, like even in relation to like what we're talking about here for Dream Class. And so I just want to remind you guys to, you know, do what I say, not necessarily do what I do. Because like there are times where like, you know, again, it really just depends on where we're going to put our focus. So just because like we're not always actively like investing our focus on dreaming, it doesn't mean that like there's something wrong about that. It's really just kind of like feeling out where we are at that moment in our life, because sometimes, you know, it's just like you want to, it does take a degree of attention to be able to invest in developing your dream practices. And sometimes if you're just like, hey, I got a lot of momentum going on with other projects and stuff like that, then like that's okay to kind of like balance it out and kind of put your dreams on side for a bit. So I mean, in that sense, like, yeah, still do what I do in that sense of just being able to like, you know where and when you're putting your focus. But yeah, just even from my experience, like over the last week and stuff like that, yeah, I was getting a lot of work done in the physical, so I wasn't even leading up to this broadcast focusing too much on my dreams. But I'll talk about more stuff later, how like even in the midst of that, there is still like the opportunity to continue to develop stuff that's going to work towards like the overall development of just like who you are, which in turn is going to help be able to turn better into better dream practices for you as well. Another thing I'll just mention real quick, for those of you who happen to be in Canada, or for those of you who are on the internet, for all of you on the internet right now, you guys would have heard this whole story about how cannabis is now legal in Canada. And I'm not going to talk about this now, but we've talked about it in past broadcasts, how cannabis affects dream recall. And so I just want to be able to share a couple ideas about like how the idea of an entire country now having access to legalized cannabis could actually affect the collective country's ability to engage with their dreams. And this is something that even just off the top of it, it's like already like 98% of people in society are not paying attention to their dreams. That's just like the numbers at hand and stuff like that. So we are a minority, we are a small percentage. That doesn't make us special or different or anything like that, but yeah, it's just kind of like interesting to keep in mind how, you know, like just the idea of suddenly legalizing cannabis could, like the effect that could have theoretically on the collective dream habits of people. Because I think with cannabis, and we're not talking just about cannabis, with cannabis, it can liberate people as well as enslave them based on their habits. And so it really comes down into your relationship with it. It's not just the plant itself. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit later. I'm going to pass over to John. John, I'm going to bring your microphone up, and thank you so much for joining, John. It's been a few moons, so welcome back and good to see you again. And when you're ready, go right ahead.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, John. So I'm going to pull my microphone down and go ahead and introduce yourself and what brings you to Dream Class.
I'm John from England, and I just woke up because your email came through and my phone beeped. And then I found a tick on my somewhere sensitive, so I had to remove that and realized I was pretty lucid in this dream. And
That's it. I'm here to dream class because I'm awake.
Perfect reason in itself.
Perfect reason in itself. So.
Awesome. Well, John, it's good to see you again. Thank you, man. Thank you for joining.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, and we'll keep passing the talking stick around. So who would like to introduce themselves next? We do have a couple other familiar faces. We have Jared and Jesse who are here. Again, just as we continue to go forward, I think, Jared, you gave your thumbs up. You want to go next? Well, again, I just want to be able to invite people that this is a space where you guys can be able to join. So if you're new to this and maybe you're like an avid lucid dreamer, maybe you got some amazing tips, maybe you got some big questions that you want to be able to ask the community, please feel free to join. And again, we did post a link to be able to join the Hangout into the live chat, and I'll post that one more time just to be able to invite anybody in as well. So I know we'll have a few more faces jumping in a little bit later. Looks like Patty's going to bed. Patty, did you want to say goodnight real quick just before you head out? Just express some gratitude. So, Patty, was that no? You don't want to say anything? Is that what? Sorry, had your microphone down.
Thanks, guys.
You're good.
Yeah, I'll just quickly. Thanks for the viewers for joining in. Thanks, Yuga. Thanks, Jesse. Thanks for John, and thanks, Jared, for popping in and joining Dream Class. I shall see you guys later. Namaste, and maybe see you, Seth, in the astral planes. Not sure though.
That's
Take
the
care,
intention.
guys.
All right, later, Patty. Awesome. So one thing Patty and I were talking about before the broadcast, again, is the idea of like shared dreaming and everything like that. Stay tuned to at the end of the broadcast. We'll be doing a meditation related to the dream tree, which is like an actual location within the astral, which we continuously work at meeting at within the dream space as a team. So if that's something that's like super fascinating to you, then stick around because that'll be a meditation at the end of the broadcast. Jared, I'm going to pass the talking stick over to you and share a little bit about what brings you to Dream Class and anything else that you'd like to bring to the table at this point. Jared, go right ahead, dude. Welcome back.
Alrighty, can you hear me?
Yeah, sounds good.
How's everything, guys? But yeah, so tonight's topic is dreams and lucid dreams and astral travel. So it's a topic I endure, astral travel, but lately it's been a little struggling. I think it's the EMF fields, the Wi-Fi, all those things interfering with our cognitive recall. I don't know if anyone speculated with this synthetic telepathy or whatever. It seems to interfere. I've experimented with some of these binaural beats as well. Put the headphones on and just hopefully that'll cancel out some of it, but I've had some issues. But I do get some recall, some vivid recall. So maybe it's just some blocks to not distract me from the ever-going physical life as well. So as most of us know that it's nice to be in those worlds where this world can be so harsh, right? But maybe I'll introduce myself for people that don't know me. Jared, Connecticut Paradigm Shift, for anyone that doesn't know me.
Cool. That's good for now, Jared, unless there's anything else you want to share.
Well, I could share some of the things that have been happening to me lately. Maybe it's a rhythm of awakening state and the mystical side, as I interpret it, where I don't have to actually be asleep in these zones, or how some people articulate them as theta or delta states. Maybe I'm finding ways to reach and access those things when we need them.
Word.
I had a mystical experience. A new friend of mine, she's a singer, and
Is this related to
you know how
dreams
like a
specifically,
song,
Jared?
huh?
Is this related to dreams? Are you tying it back?
Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Because I think it's the same state somewhere where we're talking about, and many people give it many names. We call it astral dreaming, lucid, and maybe it's all astral. And then we get a compressed file. It gives us some kind of a translation, and then we come back to this world in beta consciousness to dissect that. But we can still get that now. We don't have to go through those steps. So I feel that there was this astral being singing to me in the midst of my, voids or quiet spots, which was intriguing because I've never witnessed that.
Word,
It
word.
was pretty impressive.
Cool.
It's like my own little theme song as during the day, it whispered through my ears, my mind, and through my heart, saying everything's going to be okay.
Word,
So
man.
it was a nice experience.
Cool.
Then there was a couple other astral travels that I can recall from the dream and delta states that were quite interesting.
Cool. Well, we
But,
can. Do you
yeah.
want to save those and we'll get back to them?
Sure. We can save them. Pass the stick
Sounds
around.
good. Cool. Awesome. Sweet. Thank
Nice
you,
to
Jerry.
see everybody again.
Likewise, man. Thank you for being here. Cool. Yeah. And again, just as a quick recap, for those of you like the brain states and stuff like that, like beta is usually the state that we're always in. It's commonly the state that we are in as a society right now, but it's not necessarily the state that we always want to be in necessarily, because usually like within that state there's like the continuous sensations of sometimes like fidget, like agitation, kind of like quick survival instinct sort of thing. So we're always kind of like, that beta state was like the one that would alert you if there was danger at hand and things like that. So our ancestors have survived off of beta state for like eons and eons, and they were always making the safe decisions and things like that. Theta state, again, there's like alpha, beta, theta, delta, and gamma. Theta state is kind of like the one where you're literally like you're more in that kind of like receptive space to be able to be open to flow and to be able to open to suggestion, as well as being open to creativity. And so like, again, like alpha, if you think of like kind of like wavelengths, it would be like beep beep, or like even like alpha would be like beep 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 beep, and then like beta would be like beep 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 beep, and then like below that you eventually get to like theta, which is again, it's like beep, like gamma would be like beep beep beep, and then theta would be like beep beep beep, and then delta, which is like way lower, is like literally almost like basically like a super slow wave. It's like beep beep beep. And so basically theta is the state where when we're in theta, like that's usually the state where we're at when we're like really in a creative zone, we're really in a fun place, we're really in a space of gratitude, and that is the space that we enter into like as we are falling asleep. Like delta, which is like an even lower wavelength, and so like there's like even less frequency. But just becoming aware of the brain states and also how to create them throughout the day can have a tremendous effect on how we show up to them and how we are aware of them. Edge of like the waking, the physical dimension, and the dream space, and you can like observe it, and it can be like, again, this like a very psychedelic process. And this is where you start connecting the dots about, again, like even within dreams, it is this process of like DMT being released into the brain theoretically, though at this point I'd say let's just use that theory for the purpose of comprehension. And again, is understanding that DMT is also released at birth, at death, and when you're using DMT in ceremony, again, it's opening you up into the spirit realm. And so like literally every single night, we are in these physical bodies, but we are returning to this spirit realm. And this is something we talked about in the past broadcast, where the big concept that I always go back to is the idea that like that spirit plane, that spirit realm, the astral realm, like that's actually where we are from. That is closer to where we are from. That is our home. So we come from there into this physical incarnation to experience what we have to learn as soul and everything like that. But then each night we return to there. And it's when we are in that theta state that we are able to access these deeper parts of ourselves. We are able to consciously be aware of like the transitioning process of what it is happening to our body, of like the feeling of like your soul moving. And it can be a very interesting thing. And again, I'd love to be able to hear from people specifically about that feeling of like when you're falling asleep. and being able to observe like what actually happens, because usually there's like a certain pattern where you get like a high frequency noise, there's almost like an intense energy, and sometimes it can be almost a little bit startling. But if you're able to like relax into that, knowing that it is part of the process, and like that can really get you into some like very, very, very fascinating experiences, again, that are all possible within this human consciousness. So again, dreams just kind of reflect back to the idea that like there's so much possible within this biological computer, within this body, within this vehicle. You know, we were talking about this before. This vehicle is literally like a time machine. It is a multi-dimensional spaceship, and each night we are going into these different places. So just being aware of theta, you know, we can literally even just kind of like shit, like right now I feel like we're kind of like in a beta, kind of transitioning between like beta and theta right now. At least I can feel it within myself, because I'm just like kind of like I'm talking a lot, but at the same time, I'm also in like a flow state where there's like a coherence coming through, and things are just kind of like naturally happening. And so, and then like gamma, just for clarification, gamma is like an even like kind of, gamma is interesting because gamma is like a high creative state that's actually a slow frequency. It's a low, it's like you're so calm, you're so chill that you're able to just kind of like be in that like ultra, like nothing's gonna knock you off your block type state, while also being like super like in sync with the all wind, with the energy flow coming through you. So being in gamma is actually something that we want to do a lot. Yeah, so right now we'd be for myself, I'd be like beta gamma right now, opposed to like beta theta. Theta would be like really slow, and that's where we experience that through the meditations. And just as a heads up, I'm gonna pass the talking stick. We do our regular guided meditations on Sundays, broadcasted here through YouTube and everything like that. And those broadcasts are at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This upcoming Sunday, which will be the 21st of October, we're gonna do a dream. We're gonna do a meditation that's gonna be like basically walking you through a dream kind of thing. And this is kind of similar to stuff that we've done before, but it's going to be very intentional. And we're actually going to do it with the process of like, listen to this meditation as you fall asleep to be able to like open up into this experience. So I'm going to get ready and give you guys something really cool for that. So be sure to tune in for that broadcast either live or afterwards. And again, that's Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All the broadcasts previous are also online as well. So yeah, just becoming a little bit more conscious of like the different brain states, how we are in them, and how being in them kind of like affects the way at which like experiences enter our brain, consciousness experiences this reality, is very fascinating. So just be aware of that. Just kind of like, again, like the intention you can carry with you as you move into the dream state by being aware of like what theta feels like and how to enter that through even just using your breath. And then again, this is kind of what Jared was talking about. What you can get to is eventually this lucid living is basically what it is that we're working towards. You know, it's not just about like, hey, let's just go into the dream space so that we can fascinate ourselves with all the, you know, just like the things going on there. But again, it's like developing a constant state of lucidity as much as possible to be aware, awake, alert, and able to like make the best choices for ourselves and for our friends and for our community, and while being open to like that creativity and that source energy kind of coming through us as like conduits. Because again, you know, like the reason, and I'll just say this, and I know this is a lot, but I'm giving you guys like value here. I just want you guys to be able to like receive this so you can integrate it and embody this. You know, the reason why self-mastery is such an important thing, and how this relates to dreams, and why the practice calls us into self-mastery along with a lot of other things in our life, is because, you know, we can change our narrative by understanding why it is that we are seeking self-mastery. And as much as it is to discover ourselves, the truth of the matter is that if you're tuned into this broadcast, you found this for a purpose. Your focus towards self-mastery is helping you be a better version of yourself so that you can show up for the world, so that you can show up to help shift consciousness, so you can like show up to be of service to others in whatever way. And again, like sometimes your service could literally just be like focusing really on your own journey, and that is still like serving the collective. But just like keep in mind how, you know, there's a very powerful narrative there about why self-mastery and the quest for that is actually, you know, something that is like, you know, a part of a bigger story. It is calling us into bigger parts of ourselves so that we can continue to have a bigger impact on this world. And that's what I want. I want that for everyone in this broadcast, because I know it's within inside all of us, for all of us to step into those higher states of self-mastery, because everyone here is, you know, again, you guys are cosmic badasses, light guardians and shifters, and we have so much potential here. So these discussions are talking about dreams, you know, it connects with everything. And if we weren't talking about dreams within this entire project, we'd be missing out. We'd be ignoring a huge piece of the puzzle. So we gotta connect the dots across like multiple dimensions here. So thank you for being a part of this. Let's pass the talking stick around some more. And again, thank you guys for being here. We have Jesse and Turner as well. And again, Patty dropped out. He went to bed. And Yuga might be back a little bit later. And Jared is still here, but also inviting anybody else to join. Just checking in. Jesse, give me a thumbs up if you would just like to introduce yourself and share a little bit about what brings you to Dream Class and why dreams are important to you, and anything else you'd like to share related to the topic. So Jesse, I'm going to bring up your microphone, and a quick shout out to everybody in the live chat. Just drop some love. Let us know how you guys are receiving this, if this is vibing with you, and any questions that you guys want to contribute, because I know there's a lot of good discussion going on in the chat right now. So inviting again anybody on air as well if you feel called. So Jesse, I'm going to bring up your microphone, and welcome back to Dream Class. Do you want to just do a quick audio check? Just say hello real quick, Jesse. Yep. Okay, cool. Yes, we can. All right, cool. Jesse, welcome back, dude. I'll pass the talking stick over to you. And again, just a quick introduction and what brings you to Dream Class, or why this topic is important to you. So go ahead, Jesse.
Hello. I'm doing very well. Well, I'm, getting better, I suppose. And it's good to be here again, because you do facilitate this sacred space. I really do feel like it's sacred. Maybe that's why I get so nervous before I talk. So something big happened to me this weekend, and it's because I take ayahuasca. I'm open about it, so I don't really care if the private thing or not, or whether someone should keep it private. But before I went to this to take it, I can usually feel like in 2 days, the day before, my body getting prepared for it. So the night before Saturday, I had a dream, and this dream is a little bit more. Well, all of my dreams are special, but this one was special, and I want to share it because it kind of prepared me for how deep I was about to go on that day. It's quite amazing, and when I went that deep on that day, I'm like, okay, it's all good, I'm I'm ready to do this. So, but I can also improve myself. But anyways, in this dream, I had a night. I was at my old house, at my mom's house, and I was explaining to her a few things about. She knows what I do too, so I was telling her a few things. But also, the shaman popped up in front of me, and that's the most interesting part. And I think he was really the one who kind of prepared me for Saturday, which was the next day after. And dreams are always nice because when you wake up, you have something to think about, right? But he was this man. He was wearing, patterned geometric poncho kind of thing, right? And he was in my house, and he was showing me all these totems that were on an altar and stuff. It's just all really cool. Like, I don't know really what to make of it, but I guess when we take medicines and plants that put us into altered states, they kind of force us into going into a dream state, which may be similar to the places we go when we sleep. not sure, and it's like a willing choice to go into these states. So yeah, and all I gotta say is that they opened me up so much, like um, to to things like this, to these circles, and how like important we all are to each other, but also it's an individual growth that we're going through right now. Like kind of like it's like what the Holy Grail kind of means. Like it's just you that is the one who's trying to make it out alive. You know, because um, I did have these visions of the Earth being flat and stuff, and like we're in this game, and I don't know who set up this game, but maybe the Earth isn't flat. I don't know, but I had these visions, and yeah, it just takes a lot of strength to really work out of this one. And dreams must be an important part in us evolving, so that we aren't stuck here as slaves, basically. And I guess some people will choose to, like, if you don't care about your dreams, that's unhealthy, and you're choosing to be a zombie and fall into an abyss, basically, right? Rather than um, ascending or whatever they call it. And yeah, so thanks for having another round table. You know, these round tables are definitely special because you facilitate them. You know, you do a really good job. You know what you're doing. All right.
Thank you as well, Jesse, for being here, man.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. So cool, man. Well, that's good. We got a little bit of dream sharing happening there from Jesse's experience, and again, you know, I'm totally, and Jesse, thank you again for sharing. Yeah, again, you know, like we create. This is the concept of the circle is very powerful, right? Because when you think about it, you know, we have all of these things on social media, and we're creating videos and we're creating content and things like that, and we can see into each other's lives, but we can only see so far, and we can't see into each other's dreams in a literal sense, but we can open up into looking into each other's dreams through the stories that we share. And so I think that's like a very, very powerful idea. It's, again, just think about the concept of people coming together. They've, you know, they come together in a circle, and then they spread out, and while they're spread out, they're traveling through the multiverse, they're evolving as soul, they're experiencing things on different dimensional planes of existence, and then they come back to the circle, and they're just like, oh, like this is what I've brought back with me, this is what I've learned, this is what I've grown through. And sometimes, like, truth be told, like dreams can be hard to put into words. Oftentimes it is usually just like a feeling that can convey a dream best. And so, like, that is, again, why this is even just practice right now. Now, again, kind of even what I was saying before, like, you know, just, you know, do what I say. Don't always just say necessarily, like, do what I do. Leading up to this broadcast, like, I wasn't super focused on my dreams throughout, like, the past week. But my experience from that is the fact that, like, my recall becomes, like, very minimalized. And there can be periods where if I'm not really focusing on it, I could go like a couple weeks without like actually having like proper recall. But the things that I'm doing wrong, and I'm aware of this, and again, this is like part of my journey because I'm developing my own willpower, is like, first of all, like smoking cannabis. Every time that I smoke cannabis, that's going to affect my dream recall. If I'm not smoking cannabis, that's going to like allow me to get into better recall. And that is like a choice through willpower. And again, like I'm constantly just like making the choice that feels right for me. And so like I'm still learning even just by kind of like feeling it. And some days, you know, I'll just kind of play around with it, and I'll just be like, oh, well, you know, maybe if I just smoke a little bit and do creative work, like whenever I work with cannabis, I'm always doing creative stuff too. It's not like I'm doing it to like be lazy or just like, you know, as it's nice to have as a relaxation tool, but I usually use it to like get into like kind of like theta state, oftentimes, or even like gamma state. But, you know, like for me, the things that I am doing wrong, and I'm going to, and that's why I'm sharing this with you, because I want to share with you why it's not working for me, and for you to become super freaking aware of like how it might not be working for you. So the common things that we do wrong, that quote unquote wrong, that affect like our ability for dream recall is, again, cannabis use would be a big one. Energy in general can also be a big one. So again, this goes into like just how we're like carrying ourselves on our day-to-day life, how our diet is, also just kind of like emotional stuff that we're carrying with us. And if we're in like if we're in a place of stress, this can make it like more challenging for us to be able to like relax into being able to put more focus into our dreams as well. And again, stress isn't, this is like a side topic, but stress isn't always a bad thing. Stress on a bigger scale is like what helps us grow. Stress is what makes muscles grow because it rips them, it tears them open, and then more particles like fill in that space, and then it helps it grow. It's how we relate to stress that changes like the way it impacts our lives. So it's kind of like optimizing our rebound time so that when we do have stress, we're kind of like not absorbed into it, but we're kind of observing it, and we're like, oh sweet, okay, this is happening. Okay, I understand why this is happening, and then you kind of like move through it with more grace. Other things that are commonly affecting for me personally, having my phone next to my bed and like checking that before I'm writing down my dreams in the morning. So again, this is like literally me admitting to the fact that like, yeah, like my willpower can be better. And so instead of in the morning where I wake up and I'm like, okay, time to like check what's new on my like Instagram and see if people have been messaging me and stuff like that. What I need to do is like take my phone and freaking like chuck it out the window the night before, ideally, obviously, and basically spend that first 30 minutes in the morning really creating that space where like I'm not shining lights in my eyes. I'm really taking time to just kind of like sit there with my dreams. I'm meditating through retrospective like recall, and I'm writing things down, and I'm really feeling with it. And I'm maybe even like going back to sleep. One thing that can be very powerful that I've experienced is you wake up at some point in the morning, almost like an hour before you would normally, or like a couple hours before you would normally get up, and you spend like a good 15 minutes awake, and you kind of like wake your body up. So you're kind of like, you just woken up, but then you kind of like, you wake your mind up more so. You do something to wake your mind up. So you kind of like, just kind of like maybe do a little bit of gentle stretching, or you just kind of like, maybe even just drinking a glass of water. I feel like I should have better tips for this, but what can happen, and this is what I've noticed, is that after you're awake for that little bit and then you go back to sleep, your mind's awake but your body's still tired. That can be a very powerful time for when dream recall can come about. So even with me smoking cannabis, I have found that when I wake up in the morning and stay awake for a bit and then go back to sleep, there's the possibility for me to like get into good dream recall right there, as if like the cannabis effect like isn't totally present. It's not having the same impact again. And so like that is like just something to keep in mind, how when we're planning our dreams, when we're planning our sleep habits, sleep patterns, that has a big impact for everyone as well. And so, also, again, just being aware of like how light literally affects our eyes. So don't check your phone in the middle of your night if, again, you're focusing on like developing your dream recall. That's like such a common thing that we do. And you have to keep in mind, guys, is that like that's part of the challenge that we are in. We talked about this before. Physiologically, we are the exact same humans physiologically that we have been for like over 100,000 years, give or take. Now, though, we are the first humans who are in this environment, which is radically different. We have only been living with like cell phones and stuff like that for like 10 years now. No one has done this before. So we're learning how it's affecting us. And then we're learning to like rise above these vices, because kind of, as I was saying before, within this bigger bubble of consciousness, and I'll pass the talking stick around, I'll pass it to Turner and Unconditional Love. Within this bigger bubble of consciousness, it's interesting because there will always be those who are awake and there will always be those who are asleep. It's the teardrops of the yin yang. You can't have one without the other. And we've kind of talked about this before, is that it seems that as things are going forward, more and more of us are waking up, while at the same time, more and more of us are falling asleep. And so this is kind of what I was talking about, where like it's very peculiar, this whole thing with like the cannabis thing in Canada, because I think cannabis should be legal to begin with, but I think there needs to be proper education on how it affects you and how it can even like affect dream recall. Like I know there's all these government ads being put out about how to do responsible work with cannabis, but there's no one talking about the fact that like, like as a multidimensional being, we here at the Canadian government want to remind you that if you're smoking cannabis, it will affect your dream recall and your ability to evolve as a conscious sovereign citizen. So be mindful and don't freaking smoke it every day and turn yourself into a slave of habit, right? So like I feel like a lot of people, especially in Canada, are suddenly just going to be like, oh, well, it's easy to access, therefore I'm going to do it all the time. truth be told, for me, like, it doesn't even make a difference. Like, nothing's, like, habit-wise, like, nothing's changed on my end. I'm just amused at the fact that there's gonna be, like, old people smoking up and stuff like that. But, again, being aware of, like, how our day-to-day vices are affecting how we show up and affecting how we go to sleep. How many of us go to sleep freaking with our phone, like, right in front of our face? Like, do you think that's healthy? Like, do you think that's how we've been created to fall asleep? Like, obviously not, right? So, like, as we fall asleep, we really need to, like, again, if our intention is to develop our dream recall, which, again, like, you know, keep in mind that there are gifts waiting for you. There are freaking potent dreams and messages waiting for you when you're ready for them, when they are ready to be sent to you, when you are ready to receive them. So if you're just like sitting there scrolling through your phone, you're just like, why haven't I had any psychedelic dreams lately? Like, it's just, I've been trying, like, it's just not, I can't understand why it's not working. Like, as your phone's like in front of your face and that's how you're falling asleep each night, or maybe you're falling asleep each night, like masturbating, falling asleep each night and stuff like that. Again, you know, I'm sharing this with you because this is from my own experience years ago. Literally years ago, when this was something where I used to do this, where, you know, like every night no one taught me any better. Every night before I would go to sleep, I would just like masturbate and orgasm before going to sleep. And I'd be like, sweet, now I'm going to fall asleep all nice and good and stuff like that. Sometimes that would actually bring in like more dream recall, because then you get into like this really deep state. And like, that's usually like what happens is that like, there's kind of a couple sides of looking at it, but you notice that when you're in after an orgasm, you move into the theta state. You're in the state where you're like super relaxed and you're kind of, again, like super receptive and on the edge. So sometimes doing that before falling asleep can like actually just bring about very interesting dream recall. It's not always a consistent thing though. But the other side of that is like just the habit of masturbating, even if you're not orgasming before going to sleep each night, kind of just how you show up for the ceremony, right? So like if you show up for the ceremony demonstrating willpower to yourself, demonstrating like conscious awareness, demonstrating presence and sacred space for the dreams, it's going to be a little bit different. You know, if you fall asleep, if your habit falling asleep is to, okay, before I fall asleep, I'm going to have a light meal, nothing too heavy. That's important too. You don't want to fall asleep with like a big meal on your stomach. Some people enjoy to, but it might affect your dream recall differently. If you're in a lighter state, that can be a good thing. And then have like some water nearby, take your phone, shut it off, start journaling, start reflecting back on your day, do some retrospection, do some meditation before going to bed, listen to some music, some relaxing music, some binaural beats, do again just some like internal reflection, and then slowly transition yourself into sleep with that intention to maintain consciousness while going to sleep. That's going to have a heck of a lot more, again, just those simple little things right there drastically will change the way in which your dream habits will show up for you. Because as you show up for your dream habits, as you show up for your dreams will show up for you. And again, it's not just for the fascination of them, but it's because like there are parts of ourselves that are hidden within our dreams, and we can find them, we can access them, and we can learn from them. So yeah, I'd love to be able to hear more from you guys about, you know, like what are some of the habits that are affecting your dreams like negatively, and what are some of the habits that are affecting your dreams positively as well. So there's a lot more stuff that I want to be able to talk about there as well, but we'll just keep going a little bit more and pass the talking stick around. Turner, do you want to go next and say hello? All right, sweet. Turner, I'm going to pass the talking stick over to you. So Turner has been, again, everybody here within the circle has been in here on the broadcast before. I just want to remind people that if you are new to Paradigm Shift, you are totally welcome to join these broadcasts. So everyone here, they're kind of familiar with it, but if it's your first time, please jump in. Tell us a little bit about, you know, why this topic is important to you. And you don't need to be on video. You can just have audio. So Turner, pulling up your microphone, and when you're ready to give a quick introduction, what brings you to Dream Class, and anything else you would like to bring to the table. So go ahead, dude.
Test. 1, 2, 3.
Your microphone is very quiet right now.
Oh, is it?
Oh, now it's better. Yeah.
Test.
Yeah, that's way better.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, just kind of do that manually then. Okay, dude, welcome back to Dream Class, dude. Go right ahead.
Hello, welcome. I'm pretty glad to be here. It's been a crazy day. You know, with dreaming, I really feel like dreams are very important, because for a lot of people, you know, a lot of people who aren't, you know, so open to trying psychedelics or meditation or other ways of putting your body into these various states of mind, dreaming is one of the most readily available psychedelic experiences that a person can have. You know, it's crazy what some of the things that we dream of, and a lot of people dismiss it like, it's just a dream. But really, I feel like if we were to embrace our dreams and really focus on trying to remember them, like, you know, I really feel like a lot of people could kind of, you know, begin to connect it to a lot of these esoteric themes through these psychedelic experiences that they're having while they're asleep. So, kind of moving into like certain tips that have helped and hindered me for sleeping and having this recall of my dreams. Um, for things not to do is eating a really big meal before going to sleep. Such a bad idea. I never. I feel like there's so much energy going into trying to digest my food that it's not really. It's like almost keeping me in my body versus like releasing me into like this dream like kind of like mind mental state of being. Another thing is, yeah, kind of like you were saying, you know, masturbating or having like that orgasm. I feel like that's a lot of like a release of energy versus like, you know, keeping it inside yourself and allowing that to like, you know, put yourself in these altered states of mind or, you know, these dream states. And I feel like a lot of tips, something that's really helped me is kind of like what you were saying before, is waking up in the early hours of the morning. A lot of people say that 3:33 a.m. is the witching hour. A lot of people have had a lot of interesting experiences at around this time of day. There's a really good podcast that talks about this. And so if you were to wake up, you know, at 3 in the morning, so to say, and just keep your body up, either just like laying in bed or, you know, sitting up and doing some journal writing or whatever it is that, you know, kind of works your mind, but not necessarily your body. And then going back, it's a lot easier for your body to, you know, fall back asleep, but your mind to stay awake. That's kind of going into lucid dreaming and astral projection practices as well, which is something I find really fascinating, and I haven't had too much success with my like achieving those things myself. Hmm.
So, were you waiting for me to reply there? Was that good?
Oh yeah, I don't have anything else to say.
Cool, man. Well, that's good. Well, Turner, thank you for being here, man.
Yeah.
Have you had much dream recall over the past week? Just checking in.
Yeah, you know, I've almost had too much dream recall where it's like
Mm-hmm.
really hard to like recall everything that's happened. It's like so much detail. You just, you know, it's hard to have like the bigger picture of everything.
Totally.
And a lot of it's just like it's just it doesn't really make too much sense too. It's like, how do you write down what you just experienced? How do you put that into words, so to say? Kind of like with people's experiences with LSD or even DMT or ayahuasca. It's like
Mm-hmm.
you know, you're in this plane that's beyond words. You know, dreaming is the exact same thing. It's almost hard for me to say that dreaming isn't a psychedelic experience. You know, it's an altered state of mind, and when you go into these altered states of mind, it's like it's beyond words. It's symbolism, it's images, it's feelings, it's colors, and then when you come back, you know, it's like it gets filtered through these different things, and you're filtering it into words and into that's why some people draw their dreams. It's a different way of it's a different filter, so to say. You can get different messages from that. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, sometimes I feel like a little too much dream recall isn't a good thing too. It's like too much of a good thing is a bad thing.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that, man. And I know, like there are some people out there who, again, you know, they're just like, oh my god, like this dreaming is exhausting me, you know, in a sense. So like that's where, again, you know, we kind of have to, for some of us, pick and choose like where we're allocating our focus, and that's where like even
Yeah.
for some people, you know, like say if I was like vividly dreaming in a way that was just like almost like taking away from my productivity, maybe there would be a part of me that would strategically like smoke cannabis that day, just be like, okay, like tonight's just going to be like a deep sleep night.
Yeah.
Not necessarily like a crazy, like freaking 5-hour adventure through Narnia night. Cause like sometimes that can happen, right? Like it's like, I've had those dreams. You wake up and you're just like, you've literally just lived an entire lifetime on another planet somewhere. And then you just like get up and you just like go about your day as if it was just like something completely just casual or something like that. You're just like, oh, right. Okay. Yeah. Go make my smoothie. Right.
I had
dragons. Crazy.
I had this dream just recently where I was on a 6-hour bus ride, and I felt the entire 6-hour ride in a dream. So waking up from it wasn't a great time. It was a boring ride. But like with the marijuana, I feel like it's important to have a grounding, instead of becoming like too floating, having that exhaust you. It's important to be grounded in yourself as well. So it's like a fine balance of being grounded, but at the same time allowing yourself to let go and drift off.
Yeah, like whatever it is that you're choosing for anybody, again, just like in relation to like dream practices and cannabis and stuff like that, like it intention, just like what is your intention like as you're doing it, like you are creating the story, so just kind of be as like as clear as you can like on that as like why you're working with this and what you're getting out of it and how you are collaborating with the cannabis and even just like your own practices and things. But one of the things that you said that really fascinates me is, again, just this idea of thinking about how this reality, this is kind of just taking things a little bit wider here. This reality, people oftentimes try to define it based on science and kind of like scientific terms. But the fact is that like this reality is much more than what science defines it as. And what it actually is, like underneath like all like the scientific data of like spins and gravity and force and things that you can measure in numbers, is symbols and language. And like this is actually what reality is built upon, and this is why we actually see it within the dream space, because it's understanding that like this whole structure of reality is like built upon like archetypes and is built upon specific like energy patterns that have like just existed outside of space and time since the very quote unquote beginning or whatever. And so what's fascinating about dreams is that we're in a place where we are experiencing the potential of like being able to engage and be aware of like that ancient archetypal symbolism. And this is where, again, as you get into being able to develop your dream recall, you can really get better at being able to cipher and decipher what the dream symbolism is showing you, how it relates to you, and also being able to create your own like codex, your own way of being able to decode the symbolism of your own dreams. So it's just like, oh, okay, like I keep having dreams with water in them. Like, what does that mean, right? And eventually over time, if you kind of look at them and be like, oh, okay, like water often relates to like emotional circumstances or emotional release or something like that, right? It can be different for different people. But then again, there's like older symbols and stuff like that, and this is where you start getting into the stuff that you would see in like esoteric artwork. You would see like images of I was gonna use the word like cherubs, and I know we've used that in other terms, but I'm thinking like kind of like similar to sphinxes, like creatures and things like this. This is where we were talking about like dragons and stuff and other in the past broadcasts and everything like that. But yeah, I'm just kind of thinking off the top of my head here. But again, just like the idea, and this is where I want to be able to invite other people to come in and share with us, what have been some of the symbols that you guys have seen within your dreams. And I know that I have seen some, but like for me to try and like pull them from right off the top of my head is kind of challenging in this moment. But I know that like, yeah, we have all, many of us have all had those like very potent symbols kind of show up to us in our dreams, even if we don't know them. But it's kind of understanding that when they do that, that's like kind of like this like source language that's communicating to us. And even if we don't consciously understand it through our logical mind, it's like touching a part of our soul. And so it's really, again, really crazy. Just think about, what is the dream space? It is this place where we can literally like experience things outside of this present moment, experience things in the quote unquote past, in the future, communicate with loved ones who have passed on, communicate with other entities, practice being able to manifest things with our minds and our beliefs. And this is just kind of, I'll just say this real quick and I'll pass it over to Forrest or Ron or even unconditional love if one of you guys wants to go next. But again, realize this right now. This is just kind of going in sync with like the self-mastery of like how much understanding our beliefs actually change our reality, right? And this is where we kind of have to check in with ourselves, because it's just like how much of our perception of reality right now is actually built off of our own beliefs versus preconditioned beliefs that have been like brought in, that have been given to us, that have been poured into our reality, that have been programmed into us. So a lot of like what goes hand in hand with the dream practice is also literally reprogramming our beliefs and reprogramming like who we are. And so one of the things that could just be is like this belief system of like, oh, like I can't lucid dream, I can't recall my dreams and things like that. Open up yourself to the idea of literally reprogramming yourself in the spot and be like, oh, if I am consistent with my willpower and follow these specific patterns, then I can be able to receive the benefits and the gifts of what the dreams have to offer. And again, like I feel like dreams could be sold for like $1 million idea if it was just packaged properly. But the problem is that it requires willpower. It is really a test of the soul to be able to like develop a relationship with the dream space. And if you're lazy and just kind of in this like zombie state, which a lot of people in culture are, and again, no judgment, that's just like in conditioning of our environment, then like you're not going to be able to access those same degrees of dreams. But if I was like a marketer for dreams, I would be like, hey kids, like, like, are you tired of playing Call of Duty 27 or whatever the frick it's on right now, right? Like how many Call of Duties are there? Exactly, right? And people are just like, are you tired of like watching the same shows on Netflix? Are you tired of going to the movies and seeing another crappy movie that's predictable or something? Then what you need is to know that with inside of you, there is the most advanced, hyperdelic, radical, amazing, awe-inspiring simulation / holodeck / opportunity for you waiting inside of you, like better than PlayStation 25. I keep saying 20, better than PlayStation 9000 is like literally the internal processes of what it actually is that we are already capable of, because everything that we're seeing right now in the physical is just a reflection of like things that we already have internally on the higher conscious soul level. So when we're creating video games, when we're creating computers, when we're creating virtual reality, that's because that already exists within us at a very literal sense. And again, it's like these like abilities that through the inner space, through the natural states that we can get ourselves into, theta and delta and things like that, through the natural, through learning how to naturally release DMT within our body, within our mind's eye, you could literally access these like hyperdelic realms. You can literally be able to like open yourself up to the experience. You can have customized movies, customized stories delivered to you, curated by the goddess herself for the evolution of your soul. And you'll wake up in the morning and be like, holy crap, that was worth like, like $1 million right there. Like, wow. Right. And it was like such a unique and powerful experience. So if we could just kind of like convince people that what is waiting for them around the corner of discipline and willpower, I think a lot of people would be pretty excited about that. But even still, very few of them would actually be able to commit to that, right? Because obviously people, they just want that instant thing. And this is just a side topic, but like, I don't know if this is going to happen in this reality or not. It may not. I feel like it's very possible, but eventually there's the possibility of literally just having a pill that people would take that would like help them lucid dream or help them have better dream recall at night. Now, obviously there are plant medicines and things that we can work with, but imagine if there's like a crazy pill, because I don't even think that would work properly, because I think it's not like a consistent science. And I think like people are only going to receive the dreams that they're ready for. So if they were to suddenly open themselves up to it, it could be like very daunting and scary in a sense, like it could be some like really horrific experience that would come through, because it's just like, oh shit, like I opened that door way before I was supposed to, like I'm not supposed to go in there type thing. So it's like, there are thresholds within this reality that, we really must kind of like honor in a sense. You know, it's kind of like in the same idea where it's just like, if you show up for a psychedelic and you're just like, yeah, I'm just going to do this and I'm going to have fun because this is entertaining, then like the psychedelic will freaking slap you and be like, you know, like, humble yourself before you enter the temple, young person, you know, young soul. And so we must humble ourselves before we enter our dream space each and every night. And the more we can kind of get into that kind of like sacred ceremony space, theoretically, and not even theoretically, like through experience, like the dreams show up for us, they deliver to us. And again, through those experiences, we learn what it's like to be able to be a multidimensional being, to be able to create worlds with our minds and thoughts and intentions, to be able to see the hero and the villain inside of us, and to be able to heal parts of ourselves, to be able to communicate with entities, to be able to receive ancient knowledge, to be able to go to Atlantis, to be able to go to these like ancient cities and these other like places that exist like on the astral plane. Like, there is a hyperdelic internet inside of us every single night, and we just need to realize it's there. And once we start kind of planting these ideas, we can start kind of like showing up to them, where it's not just like a swing in the dark. We're like, okay, I know what I'm working towards right now, and not just what, but why. And again, we do this because like as we awaken within the dream, we awaken to our sovereign citizenship. We awaken to our sovereign identity as a cosmic citizen. And that is something incredibly powerful. You know, we approach our dream practice in a very like selfless way. Yeah, it's to be able to learn about yourself, but it's to be able to learn about yourself so that you can show up to have a better impact within this world through your creativity and all the beautiful things that you carry and share that are unique to you. So, but anyways, that's just a couple things. Feel free to drop some 1111s in the chat if you guys are like finding value and enjoying the show so far. So again, this is all just practice. I'm going to check in Forest or Unconditional Love. If you guys want to share next, please feel free to let me know and unmute yourself. All right, Forest, we're going to pass over to you. And again, everybody in this broadcast so far is people who have been in these broadcasts before. So again, just reminding and inviting anybody who may be brand new, absolutely, please feel free to join. It's totally cool to sit back and watch and enjoy, but just know that the door to the circle is open. So Forrest, I'm going to pull up your microphone. Welcome back to Dream Class. And when you're ready, go ahead, introduce yourself and whatever else you would like to bring to the table tonight. So go right ahead, dude. Welcome back.
Hi, yeah. It's good to be back. It's good to have a community to have intelligent conversations with. And I love this this conversation about dreams. The dreams, to me, the dream world and the psychedelic world are pretty much the same thing. You know, your mind is going to an altered state. If you think about it, and anybody can do this tonight, it's like Terrence McKenna says, watch yourself go to sleep and really pay attention to that part where you feel like, you know, your awareness is leaving you. Like, really pay attention to that part, because that's so close to the other side, the beyond the veil, so to speak. And I've found that when I focus on that particular part, that when I'm meditating, I could bring that in, and it lasts much longer as well. And then also on psychedelic medicine, I used to, when using psychedelics and plant medicine, is that I would kind of like try to go to sleep in a way. And I've had Mother Earth just straight up tell me, this is not the time for sleep. And it was like, I wanted to sleep so bad. I was like, I'm so comfortable laying down here. It's probably also another reason why I don't lay down while on plant medicine also. Because I was just so comfortable being down there. I just wanted to sleep. And I was like, I was almost like begging for sleep, you know? And it was like, well, is it possible that sleep is very close to death? That they're actually not that far apart? And then that's when I was realizing that, okay, so holding the awareness, being aware of being aware, is important when traveling through these realms. And there was a time with Sapito that I actually did feel like I did fall asleep, and I went to a void where there was no color, there was no anger, there was no sadness, but there was also no laughter, and there was no joy, and it was just straight, completely nothing. And because there was no feelings, I didn't know how I felt about it. I just know that looking back at it, even though when I was in it, I didn't have any feelings about it because it was pure nothing. But looking back at it and remembering what I saw, the nothingness is definitely not a place that I would like to go to again. And I prefer to sit with a teacher and learn a lesson rather than to just go to a nothingness. Even in meditation, when someone doesn't meditate, they look at somebody meditate and they're like, okay, they're just, they're being still, they're breathing nicely. It's very relaxing for them. What many don't understand is that when we're meditating and we're going deep within, there's colors, there's flashes, there's visions, I've had visions where me, Mary, Jesus, and Shiva are all in a room, and it's like we just finished up with a meeting and we're just hugging each other. A lot like, I would hug my friends here in life. And that was in a meditation. And so meditation can be very visual as well. And I think that that also helps with dreaming. And I think that there's a connection between meditation just before going to sleep. And that's one thing about these devices that we have is we have to, even add another discipline onto our lives, which is, let's not watch these devices before we go to sleep. Instead, let's meditate before we go to sleep, which I'm in the same boat. It's hard for me to do also. And it's just discipline, Or am I gonna look at whatever the program that's on my phone while I'm laying in bed, or am I gonna, sit up for another, I don't know, 10 minutes, whatever you have, 30 minutes ideally, but if you have 10 minutes, 10 minutes, and just wash off the day, in a spiritual sense, just kind of, I call it soaking in the spirit, and you just kind of just soak and you just allow the universe to just peel whatever happened in the day off. And so when you go to bed, it's almost like you're going to bed, spiritually naked. And I think that that would be a good opening to go into the dream world. And then also with the cannabis, I know that science, that, well, I'm not going to say scientifically because honestly, I don't think science knows much about these plant medicines. But I know that ideally that the cannabis, it does put you in a very sleepful state and you have a good deep sleep. However, I do understand that it also affects dreams. But for some reason with me, with the indica strain, it actually helps with very vivid dreams. And then sativa does the opposite. And then also with, and I was saying this in chat, is Salvia divinorum. Salvia divinorum is a very DMT-like journey, and it's legal in a lot of states actually too, and it's federally legal also. And it's a plant from Mexico, and the Mazatec shamans use them in Mexico, and up here in the States we smoke it, but it could also be chewed in a they call it a quid, And Terrence McKenna just says, just stuff 20 leaves in your mouth and chew it for 30 minutes. But so I'll smoke it, and I'll go on my journey, and then immediately I will take a nap afterwards. And wow, I've had the most vivid visual dreams. And I mean, dreams that like I could remember. That's the problem with a lot of dreams is like, yeah, it's a lot like the psychedelic realm. However, I can be on ayahuasca for, 4 to 6 hours and remember everything that happens. However, I just went to sleep for 4 to 6 hours. And the moment I get up, I'm like barely hanging on to like just a couple of entities that I met, and I think that's the idea is like, how do we remember? How do we remember? And why is it that our brains want to, our mind, I guess, would be more accurate, wants to forget what happened in the dream world so much? Is it that? Is it that much of a dilemma, so to speak? It's like, yeah, we saw on the other side, we saw that veil. Is it really that bad to remember what was over there?
I think, Forrest, do you mind if I just kind of
Yeah,
talk with you on this? Because I'd love to just go a little bit deeper. I think, you're hitting, and thank you for sharing, dude. I love just listening to you talk, first of all, everyone here. And, I think it's very interesting to observe the idea of like, why is it the default for us to like forget our dreams? And it seems to be that it's just like part of this default built-in mechanism where like as like we get closer to kind of like peeling back the veil, the immediate response of reality will be to kind of like roll things back to like base level consciousness, like base level like physical consciousness and things like that. And I feel like there's almost like kind of like that's like a built-in kind of like safety mechanism to kind of like, I mean, in a sense, it's like almost to kind of like keep us tethered within this reality, so to speak. But again, it is something where like we can learn to change that. We can learn to kind of like change that programming of like how that initial default code kind of runs itself. But you're right, like for most people, it's interesting to observe like how we will commonly forget our dreams unless we are actively kind of like transporting them from our hard drive to like from our spirit hard drive to our physical hard drive, so to speak. Like that's not like the best term, but again, like basically when people think about dreams, the way I see it is that we're not actually our soul is not forgetting the experience of our dreams. We in fact never forget the experience of our dreams. Whatever happens in a dream is infinitely recorded like within our heart, within our soul on that plane. But that experience oftentimes is like located on the hard drive that we usually have associated with like the dream space. And so that is why like as we kind of wake up, we kind of have to like copy the files from one hard drive to another. Like we literally have two partitioned hard drives here. And again, using technological metaphors is one of the best ways to explain consciousness in a lot of ways. So it's like, it's like okay, you're about to like shift from one hard drive to the other. You're about to shift from your dream memory, from your dream experiences to your waking consciousness, to your waking like your operating system. You're literally kind of like it's like, we have one computer and we have multiple operating systems running on the same computer. And then it's like kind of as we wake up in the morning, it's like you're restarting the computer and you're turning back on your regular operating system. But as you do that, there's this brief period where it's like before you reset the computer, copy over your files from one partition, from one hard drive to the other. And we copy over those files by by converting them from a dream recall from a dream memory into a conscious memory by writing it down and by writing it out and by talking about it. Because what's actually happening, and this is just kind of an idea, and I'm just kind of, I've thought about this before, but just kind of trying to verbalize it. In a sense, it's like as much as we are remembering the dream itself, we are actually afterwards we are remembering the memory of remembering the dream, if that makes sense. Like it's not the dream that you remember, it's like the waking memory of remembering the dream, which links to the dream, so to speak. So it's kind of like you know, you're kind of like creating like a shortcut to like link from one file to the next sort of thing. But yeah, you know, but dreams, crazy. But again, you know, like with dreams, I'm fascinated at the people who have consistent good recall. And some people have this even just by default. And again, just kind of one thing I was referring to earlier is like understanding that we as consciousness, we all have basically the same hardware. Essentially, we are the same physiological being across the entire globe, have been for hundreds of thousands of years. What's changing is our operating software, like our our wetware, like our operating systems. And again, like Terrence McKenna talks about this as well, and this was like way back in the day too, but it does make sense. And so it's understanding that, you know, why do some people dream differently from other people? Why is it not consistent? Because we are running different operating systems. Literally, if like my friend has really good like not even really good, but just has a totally relationship with their dreams, and just like, you know, like they're just like, oh well, I don't practice any of those things and I still remember my dreams really well. Like that's, from my perspective, understanding that that's just the operating system that they are running. And that's really cool that they have that operating system available. Whereas like for myself, it's like I'm running a different operating system, and the one that I'm operating again is one where like my story is like, I love my dreams. I love what my dreams have to offer. And because I love my dreams, I am motivated to work on myself to be able to help be like the bridge for myself and my dreams. Because for me, and this is something I invite other people to feel as well, and this is something within the project that we're really opening up to through like the creation of quest journals, which include dream journals within the quest journals, right? You can like share your dream recall through a quest journal on the website. But you know, it's like oftentimes as we kind of move into this place where we have the opportunity to share our dreams with a community, we can move into a place where we actually become kind of a conduit for source conscious messages to be able to share through us. You know, so it's just like you wake up in the morning and you're like, holy crap, like guys, like I had this very powerful dream last night and it was very symbolic and there was a message to it. I'm going to share that message. I'm going to share that message with the team, because this is something that's like literally kind of like coming through me. We kind of become like a channel in a sense, you know, it's like this like signal was sent through us. We received it in the dream space, and then it's up to us to carry that signal. And then like to be able to like show up and to be able to transmit it through our waking language in that sense. So, I mean, I'll pass back to you in a second, Ron, because, you know, from one perspective, you can almost get into this idea that from a higher level dimension, there are like the higher entities which are actually almost perhaps curating our dreams, similar to what I was talking about earlier, or at least influencing them or integrating or interfacing with them. And one can almost assume or think or theorize or just play with the story that they are actually trying very hard and consistently and adamantly to be able to get messages to us, but they're having trouble doing it because so many of us are like not fully receiving the message. So like even though we might not like it's always kind of like they're trying to give it to us. They're like, you know, they'll be like, here's this amazing dream, please share this message with the world, or please like share this experience, like let this like open your heart. And then you'll possibly you'll go through it, your heart will experience it, but then you'll wake up in the morning and you'll just like open your phone right away and then just like go about your day and you forget your dream. And then like to us, we're just like meh, you know, like we don't think anything of it. But then you can almost imagine, almost from like a humorous perspective, a satiric, like a kind of weird perspective, you can think of like these higher entities, and they're just like they're watching you in that morning when you're waking up in the morning, and you're just like, all right boys, we sent the signal, now we just have to sit back and wait. Okay, he's waking up, here it comes. Oh god damn it, he's checking his phone again. Oh god damn it, no, we just sent you like gold, man. We just like, do you even know like the amount of hours I put into programming your dream and creating all those background artifacts for you? Like, dude, that was like so much love. and like I wanted you to be able to like share that with the world. And then we just wake up and we're just like, meh, and we just don't think anything of it. We have no idea that there's like other entities who are like working hard on directing our dreams, if that's an idea that even makes sense to you or whatever. But again, you know, just kind of going back to this concept of like, what if the reason why we have dreams is not only to evolve our soul, but also to evolve the collective story that we are telling by, again, opening us up into this bigger awareness of what it is that we are. And just like my goodness, like could you imagine what it would be like if even just us as a team, as a group, if more and more of us just became more aware of like our experiences within our dreams every single night, and how that would change how we show up, how it would change how we shift our identity, how that would change how we shift our purpose and our calling, literally within this story that we are creating right now. And again, this is like calling us back into like that light guardian archetype in a way of really understanding, like, you know, there's something like very magical that is happening here. But anyways, feel free to drop some 1111s in the live chat if you think that idea is like novel or something. So, but anyways, Rod, what do you think of that idea?
Yeah, that is like, I got chills when you were saying that. Like that is.
I feel like there's probably something to it,
I think
man.
you're right on point.
I think there's something to it.
I think there are.
They're trying to get messages out to us,
man,
and
I put so much into that dream. I thought for sure you would come out remembering that. You know?
Yeah.
And also, if we're not supposed to look at our phones first thing in the morning, then a lot of us need to really ask ourselves, is it right to have our phones as our alarm clock?
Yeah.
Because it may not just be the, you know, looking, not just the busyness of the phone, but it's actually the frequency of the phone. And what if those beings that we see in our dream realms, what if they're not only programming our dreams to help us remember, but they're constantly sending us that vibration every waking moment of our lives? However, we only can receive that when we go into that theta state.
Yeah.
Which the only way we know how to do that without the help of plant medicines is sleeping. And then another thing is I think of dreaming as the psychedelic you could take every day. You know, we can't have ayahuasca every day. We can't have mushrooms every day. You know, even salvia divinorum I would not recommend having every day. I mean, these are, you know, once a month, once a week kind of, you know, things. Mugwort, for example, does help with dreaming, but you really just, you know, one time out of a week. And then if you feel like your dreaming starting to fall off, have some more mugwort. And you don't need to smoke it. You can have it tea. You can have it in a tea form. And they actually make these mugwort pillows, which apparently it's like a pouch, and you rest on the pouch like a pillow, or you can put it under your pillow. But what I found most effective is, yeah, just that subtle smell that you barely even smell. It's more like your subconscious is smelling throughout the night. Can also activate the mugwort or what as well. But yeah, I recommend like that if you feel like your dreams are kind of falling off. Like there was a time where I felt like my dreams were like, wow, they were really vivid like last week, and then I just feel like they're getting less and less vivid. And then I had some mugwort, and boom, they were right back. So yeah, that's how I've been using mugwort. And that's another thing is like you can't have mugwort the same week before you're having any kind of ceremonial medicine. So that's another thing that. Same with St. John's wort. You want to stay away from that the week before medicine as well. But yeah, so dreams is like the psychedelic we can take every day. We just got to open ourselves up to it.
Yeah, very, very literally. And again, you know, like what do psychedelics do? They open us up to the often unseen, that which is ever present. The you know, it takes us back home, so to speak, even just for a brief period. And you know, we go there as, you know, kind of like the Terrence McKenna thing, you know, you go there as like a fisherman to be able to bring something back with you. And again, that is like, even when we're in the dream space, that is exactly what part of our intention can be, to bring something back with us from those realms, from that dream space, bring ideas, bring creativity, bring inspiration. Because I mean, we've heard about this all throughout history, right? Like how many people have had like the most magnificent, life-changing, world-changing ideas that have come to them through their dreams. You think that in itself would be like kind of an obvious thing that might give us some attention to, you know, give us some intention to focus more on our dreams, right? But again, we are in a society where dreams are not talked about. They are a forgotten art. They are a forgotten practice, at least in like the Western parts of the world. But it's very fascinating, again, just to kind of like play around with like exploring how have dreams played a part throughout our history, throughout ancient cultures and things like that? Did we used to dream differently? And this is, you know, again, we were kind of talking about this earlier in the episode, how even like being in the environment surrounded by EMFs, surrounded by this technology and everything like that, how it is affecting us. And even just like, you know, if you're looking to get like a different experience with dreams, like one of the best, simplest, easiest ways you can do is like, you know, go camping or something like that, right? And most people will notice to be like, wow, okay, like I was like 2 nights out camping and I was already noticing that my dreams were quite different, right? So it's like just you know, this is still the perfect reality. Everything is happening, you know, in a lot of ways that's really teaching us, and a lot of it is almost just like side effects of the very nature that we are in. But you know, let's look at this as a way to be able to call us into, you know, more discipline, more habit, more refinement of who we are, and again, to really be ambassadors for higher consciousness, to be intentionally choosing to be like the bridge between worlds, to be cosmic world bridgers. So you know, like that is the role that many of us play in a very literal sense. So just kind of keep in mind, like, how can we do that? How can we do that each night? And even if it isn't necessarily like a message where you share it suddenly with everyone, but you integrate it into an awareness of who you are. And again, you use this to understand, you know, you use the concept of things like lucid dreaming and things like that and these experiences to help you become a better creator within this reality, to create with like more integrity, with more intention, with more creativity. You know, there's just, oh man, like I love dreams. I just it's an amazing thing, and I'm just so grateful that we're able to talk about them and that we're able to just have them. So you know, like even just listening to this broadcast, let this broadcast plant seeds that are just going to start getting you to start thinking about things with a little bit more intention, and through there it will like begin to shift the way in which like you're able to show up for dreams, and then dreams show up for you as well. So yeah, it's quite the journey. Ron, anything else? And then I want to pass it over to unconditional love.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Just one other thing is when you were talking, I was thinking, well, so we're getting these messages in our dreams, but if these are messages that we're supposed to take into our reality, how many of us are actually acting on that dream? Like, let's say you have a dream where you went to the forest and you went camping, then all of a sudden all these angel-like beings came and you know were hanging out with you and you guys were having just this wonderful time. Well, how many of us in our waking lives would like make sure to go, you know, to the forest in the weekend and to actually, you know, give it a chance, like see like what if I did go to the forest, maybe they will show up, you know, and to actually act on that, like, you know, dreams, when people have dreams that they're a Jedi, you know, it's like, well, what's stopping you from accepting that? Is it because you don't have a lightsaber? Is that really what's stopping you? Because there's so much more to it than that, you know? Or just, you know, any kind of dreams. And I'm not saying that if you go to the forest, you'll meet those angels in your dreams, although you may. But you go to the forest, expect, you know, and with the intentions to meet those angels, and you end up running into some really great people who happen to be walking down the trail and they're, you know, open to for, you know, communication. You know, and before you know it, you now have, you know, this brother and sister that you never knew you had. You know, it's like family you didn't know you had, you know. Or if you have a dream that just to act on your dreams, that's all. I just want to encourage
Yeah.
everybody, including myself, let's act on our dreams. If we have a dream of going into space or something, let's see what happens when we look into that. I don't know, maybe nothing, but then again, maybe something amazing.
Yeah, man. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, like again, you're right. I love that idea of like, what if dreams are kind of there as a guiding hand to just be like, hey, like, like go to that thing, go this way. If it is kind of like the future kind of pulling us in a sense, because again, like that's kind of the idea is that we've talked about this in the past broadcasts of the last one, the roundtable we did. We were talking a lot about time and everything like that, where it's like the future is already there. And through our dreams, what if like our future is kind of beckoning us? We're getting like foresight for our future intentionally through our dreams. Like it's incredibly powerful. Yeah, I'll just say one quick other thing, and then we'll pass it to unconditional love, and we'll keep talking for a bit, guys, and we'll wrap this up within the hour or less. And we'll refresh the Patreon in a second. So if anybody wants to donate to the Patreon in the next 5 minutes, please feel free to do that, and we'll refresh that to see what our count's at. But I just want to be able to share the fact that dreams are, like I said, dreams are something incredibly interesting to me. This is something I've been fascinated about. I've already talked about this. It's something that was like a huge paradigm shifting topic to me. The concept of lucid dreaming and astral projection opens you up to this idea of being a multidimensional being by nature, etc., etc., etc. Everyone should at least start looking into it, because then it'll open us up to a bigger picture of who we are. For me, the topic of astral projection was always something very fascinating. And again, like that's the idea of like you're consciously like floating either through this dimension or another dimension consciously, like outside of your body, and you're able to kind of like move through, oftentimes explained like physically, like this space, and you're able to like see things and go places and do things, and it's like very trippy. Truth be told, like out of all of the years that I've been like talking about this, and this has been something passionate for me, I have not had like more than what I could say would even be like maybe a couple astral projection experiences. Like I've had lucid dream and astral projection kind of cross over and stuff like that. I would almost say that my astral projections were just lucid dream experiences. Like it's hard for me to vividly say for certain if I like literally astral projected. Like sometimes an easy way to identify if you astral projected can sometimes happen within a short proximity of like people talking about how they'll wake up in the middle of the night, they'll go out of bed, they'll hear a knock at the door, they'll go check the door, no one's there, they'll turn around, walk back to their bedroom, and see themselves sitting in bed asleep. And like that can be a form of astral projection, because again, it's like you're in that same dimension and you're seeing yourself and you're just like, holy crap, like I'm in this field of information right now. For me, the fact that I haven't like had more of those types of experiences, like that is a driving thing for me, because I know I can, I know you can, I know we can. And I feel that, again, it's a matter of us showing up with intention and in creating the integrity and creating the space to be able to invite those experiences in. But like, honestly, if I were like suddenly at like 30 years in the future and I was just like, wow, like, look at this, like Brendon, curator for Paradigm Shift Central, and I never actually had that many lucid dreams or astral projections. Like I would feel like I missed out, like I would feel like, damn it, like I wish I could go back and redo that again, sort of thing. Like I would literally feel like I didn't utilize like this lifetime enough. That the idea of that feeling, the kind of thought of it, like as in a sense that it kind of like scares you, can also like motivate you, where it's like, guys, like you are only here for a limited amount of time and there are experiences waiting for you. Use the time that you have now to be able to open yourself up to those experiences. And again, I think that with dreams, there is a science to it, meaning that if you follow certain patterns and certain habits, you can have these experiences. You can lucid dream. You can astral project, because you have the same hardware that all of us have. It's just a matter of like your belief systems, your coding that you're putting into it. So again, I look forward to being able to talk to you guys more about like how I've had experiences with like more vivid dream recall, more lucid dreaming and things like that. But I know for me, I have to earn it. And that's just the fact of the matter for me. But again, I want to be able to do that for myself, but also to be able to do that, to be able to like, yeah, lead by example, but also to be able to like be that bridge between those worlds. Because I know through my own experience that like some of the dreams I've had that I've been able to share with the community have been like super symbolic and stuff. So I'm like, okay, what else is waiting there for me? what else can be like brought into this reality? You know, like how many of us listening to this broadcast have always fantasized about the idea of like really activating those like dormant abilities within us, you know? And that's kind of the thing, that's that there's all these codes that are within us, and we're activating them, we're turning them on, we're intentionally like opening them up. And so these are like literally, you know, even the idea of like psychic abilities, like how many of us were just like, even before 2012, we were just like, fuck yeah, fuck, you know, heck yeah, I'm gonna develop psychic abilities, and I'm gonna prove that they're real and stuff like that. And how many of us have actually done that, right? How many of us have just kind of got pulled into the fascination of this reality? Because it takes time to kind of like set aside like the focus on that and everything like that. Whereas like for me, I'm still fascinated by that. And I feel like I really am going to start focusing more as I develop my own mastery to be able to create time to develop these habits. Because I don't think that me developing better dream recall habits has to mean that it's actually painful. Like, if anything, it's more painful to not do it and to remain in the space where, like, I don't experience it, and eventually I'm just like, oh, damn it, right? So, like, I want to be able to move myself towards that direction where, like, yeah, like, better dream recall, lucid dreaming, and astral projection. And I know how to do it, and I know I can do it, and that's just me putting out that intention, because I want to be able to like open up to what this reality has to offer. I love psychedelics. I love psychedelic experiences. They are waiting for us every single night if we show up. So I want to be able to like honor that. I want to be able to like open myself more into that space, and yeah, and just be able to like experience like the unique opportunities that we have as a soul, being able to project ourselves from this physical body. Like, it's a beautiful thing where we can literally every night go into the astral realm, experience these planes where, again, thoughts are creating, all is mind, activating our power, feeling that like godness, feeling that like super saiyan within ourselves, and like literally being able to experience that. And then with the snap of a finger, you return back to this world and you still got all of this. Like, we literally have the best of both worlds, the best of multiple dimensions. Like, you are incredibly privileged to be alive right now as a soul. Incredibly privileged. Again, I've talked about this before. There are souls out there, theoretically, that are waiting to spawn into human, like, they're waiting to show up on Earth. Like, this is a highly popular place to be, and for good reason. So if you are here, you are already in a freaking like sports Cadillac. You know, you're in like the top of the line, technologically advanced bio like mechanical vehicle available. This is like super high end, that like, you know, form that we are dealing with here. So let's use it. Let's continue to look deeper. Let's continue to activate those parts of ourselves. Let's continue to, again, like, know thyself, and, you know, like, again, awaken within multiple states of the dream, within the dream space, within our waking state. So it's all about self-mastery. You know, it goes hand in hand. And there will be periods where you might not be focusing as much on your dreams, but I feel like that will feel better after you've gone through the periods where you have focused on your dreams. So you're just like, yes, I know I can achieve that. I know that is there for me. And now I'm going to shift my focus, and I'm going to like focus more on like manifesting in this physical dream, and being an entrepreneur, and earning like awesome value and sharing awesome value with community, and creating awesome opportunities. You know, so it's a balance, right? So in the same way we're creating in the dream space, we're creating in this space. All is mine, you know, like, it's not just, it is a law of attraction, but it's also like, this is very powerful, but it's like a law of allowance. And we kind of have to allow those realities to come to us. And we allow those realities to come to us when we get the frick out of our own way, and we get super freaking honest with ourselves, and we start like being aware of our bad habits, and again, quote unquote bad habits. And this is like totally just from non-judgment, because we are all playing this like same kind of, we're on the same board game here, where we're in this like crazy environment. And that's why it's important for us to work together. One of the most valuable things when it comes to dream practice is community, because we help keep each other accountable in that sense. So again, thank you people here in the community for helping keep us together accountable. So I'm just going to refresh the Patreon real quick, and then we're going to pass over to Unconditional Love. And thank you guys for sharing, and just allowing, again, you know, all of us to be able to share in this space together. All right, so I'm just going to refresh the Patreon real quick. Thank you again to our Patreon supporters. Again, we've been really just like like the Patreon's going to keep going up, guys, and I'm really excited to be able to help like assist within this process. We've got some good tactics happening, and we've got some great people connecting with the community. And again, this is about building that global team. And so thank you again to everyone on the Patreon, because your support allows us to continue to provide a lot of value to the community. So awesome. All right, so we just refreshed the page. I think it's like still refreshing, but it looks like it's still at 145, which again is totally cool. But again, for those of you listening in the future, please feel free to add your contributions, help us get to 150 by the end of the month and beyond. Like I got a good feeling like it will not be that long until we are up like well past like 180 and eventually 200. Like, truth be told, this is just a side note, guys, but believe me, guys, like there will be a time where that monthly income is going to be like over 10,000. Literally, like that's the intention. It's been the intention like that for years. It's been the intention to get that really high. Like what happens, like, you know, if we were literally just like as a community developing these like ways to generate these funds, and again, that goes into supporting our shared dreams. This is how we manifest within this reality, by putting in the hard work, by using our like sweat and blood and intentions and our heart to be able to like manifest so that we can continue to give in more abundance. So it's a very powerful thing. So, and again, thank you everyone for being a part of that awesome formula. We got a sweet hack going on here, guys. Monthly micro contributions. We all give a little, we all get a lot. So it's basically like manifesting like value out of what seemingly feels like thin air in the sense, you know, like everyone's just like $5 here, $5 there. Like that's like not too much, but it still has a lot of value. And then out of that, boom, a lot of value like springs forth. So let's pass it over to unconditional love, and again, just bringing this back to focusing on dreams and everything like that. So any practical tips that you guys want to share, dream experiences? We haven't had too many dream stories to be able to share. I'd be sharing them if I remembered my dreams this last week. Unfortunately, I don't. I only have like minimal recall, and the stuff that I like, yes, this morning when I went to sleep, it was just like me like, actually no, I remember in my dream I found like a cannabis shop. But I didn't go in it. I just like walked past it. I'm like, oh cool, the cannabis shop is open. And then I was like skateboarding up and downtown, and I like ran into a couple friends, but nothing like crazy symbolic or whatever. Just kind of like mundane. So there's a difference. Sometimes, you know, like you remember the mundane ones, but you have to get good at paying attention to even the mundane ones before like those like super detailed ones are going to continue to come back to you. So all right, Turner, I'm just gonna, can you unmute your microphone if you want me to pass the talking stick over to you? And I'll pull your microphone up in a second if you would like to share some stuff. Okay, cool. So Turner, I'm just gonna pull your microphone up and click the unmute button. So, or sorry, not Turner, unconditional love. Sorry guys.
Oh,
Ta-da. Okay, cool.
can
Sweet.
you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, man. Awesome. Welcome back, dude.
Okay.
Go ahead and just introduce yourself and anything, any thoughts on what we've been talking about, and again, experiences, tips, any of that stuff to help the team. Welcome back, dude.
Cool. All right. So yeah, you guys can call me Evan, or unconditional love. You can call me whatever. But I want to just start with saying thank you all for being a part of this existence and this collective dream that we're all a part of, because it's fucking amazing, and you guys all make it more amazing and truly remind me how full of greatness I am, how grateful I am to be a part of this. And yeah, so yeah, getting into dreams. I've had a lot of crazy experiences just like in the past couple of weeks, and my dreams have definitely been getting more and more vivid and more consistent, and having more dreams. Like Turner said, also recently, the past couple nights, I've been waking up having so many dreams that I could only remember like one or two of them, and or only certain parts of them, or maybe it was a long dreams, but I can only remember certain parts of them. So that's something I'm working on too, is trying to remember the whole thing rather than just parts of them, because now it's getting to the point where I'm getting more vivid in my dreams. But yeah, to remember them. And I think a big part of that for me is like having a time when I wake up in the day that's the first thing I wake up and do is think about my dream, or not even think about my dreams, just feel what did I dream about, and write down anything that happened, even if it's just like the weirdest dreams ever that don't make sense, or they're just completely or really boring dreams. Writing those down is helping me remember more and more and more. One thing that's also helped a lot is, or I think it's helping a lot, and I'm not sure, but just the past like 3 or 4 nights, I've been every night going out like into the field, or just going out to where I can see the stars. And I'm in Colorado, so it's really cold out here, especially at night, but putting on some really warm clothes so I can get out there and be warm to meditate for a long period of time, and just lying on the grass and looking at the stars. And since I've been doing that, every night I've been doing that, I've been having way more dreams. Like, yeah, so many dreams. It's kind of crazy, and I think that's part of the reason why that's happening. I'm not sure. Um, uh, yeah. Then another thing I wanted to mention too was something that's been, yeah, that was really interesting that happened because of meeting people on here is uh, after one of the live streams, I had talked to Jared about one of the experiences, and you heard, I'm not sure if you heard the whole experience or heard just part of it, Brendon, but and I won't get into all the details of what it was because it's not really important what that experience was. But afterwards, Jared's interpretation was that it was astral traveling, and he said he consented. He said, if you astral travel again, you can come to my house, and then when you wake up, tell me about it, and then then I'll show you around on my camera and show you if that's what my house looks like. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll do that if I astral travel. And that night, I had a dream of him walking you and me around, uh, you, Brendon, and me, just walking us around and giving us a tour of his house. And he was like, yeah, over here is like, I don't remember like specifically. It was like a really short dream from what I remember, and it's like going back into that what you're saying, like remembering of the dream. But what I do remember from it is he was just showing us around, and he was like, yeah, this is this area, and this is this area, and then he was like, this is this is this thing that I'm working on, or something like that. And I think I remembered it as him being like, this is a secret room or something. And to him, obviously, it's not secret because he said that I can share this with everybody. But yeah, so I remember walking, we went down a ladder and stuff, and it was all under construction. And then I woke up, and I just wrote that down. I was like, okay, I'm not sure what that means, but it was something. And at first I interpreted it just from my understanding of like looking into dreams and looking into especially like the Western mind, that dreams are for traumas and dreams are for uh to get to make sense of things, or whatever. But and that's what I thought at first. I was like, okay, maybe that just happened because he said if you astral travel, you can come to my house. But then realizing just there's such a bigger picture to everything. And when I go into my feelings are like, no, that's fucking stupid. Obviously, there's something more to it. And then my like programmed mind is like, no, 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 it's just a dream. It doesn't mean anything. And for personal reasons, I've been hesitant to share my dreams. But this is one that I was like, okay, I'm not sure what this means to me at all. I don't know why this happened. I don't know why, like if that were to happen, why didn't he just show me a normal house or whatever? Why was it like a secret room where we climbed down a ladder and it was all under construction? So like the next day or whatever, I sent Jared a message, and then we ended up talking about it and having a long conversation. And it turns out that he has been planning to do construction on his house and adding this whole underground part and stuff like that. And yeah, so I think I mean that's really cool and everything. That's like an awesome experience, and it's cool, but it's also like, for me, after sitting with it for a while, realizing how important it is, like what you're saying about will and dreams, to have like we're not really going to remember our dreams if we don't have any will to remember our dreams. I'm not going to dream about longboarding and snowboarding if that wasn't my dream in this life. Somebody who doesn't enjoy that stuff is most likely not going to dream about that stuff. They might, but it's not going to mean as much as it would to somebody who does love something. And so yeah, I think a huge part about dreams is like, what do you will to dream? And that's something I've been working on, like, yeah, more so, and realizing it's like everything is like thoughts in our daily lives integrate with dreams, and like what we choose to pay attention to is what comes in the dream world, and what comes in the dream world is what comes into this world. And so yeah, one thing I've been doing recently is just like really just focusing on what really resonates with me. And it's something like I'm sure you all do too, but yeah, really focusing on what resonates with me. And we're all constantly fed with what to believe and what to think by others, or uh, who to be. And the only one who knows who you want to be is you. And once we actually start doing those things and doing the things that we become, life really does become like a dream. And like the experiences I've been having recently have just been like crazy, and I've actually had to be kind of like cool, like asking like the guides and stuff would be like, okay, I need to like ground myself more, especially because I'm a Taurus, and I like really like being grounded. That's like, yeah, my center. And some people like being really airy, but yeah, so that's one thing I've been doing a lot recently, and like really living like my life as I wish to dream it. And it's been coming into my dreams, and instead of having dreams about boring mundane stuff, it's like like my dreams are becoming more like the way that I wish to be them to be, like really magical and things like that. And it's like, yeah, they all integrate together. And that's one reason I really want to express, like, seriously, like words can't even express how grateful I am for all you guys, because like doing this work on myself is so um like I'm there's nothing that's going to stop me from doing it. It's all I want to do. But especially like in this society, it often feels, at least for me, like nobody else really cares about like reality. And to me, like, reality is more like this stuff rather than what we're programmed to think through school and things like that. And yeah, so just seriously, thank you guys for being your truth, because it helps me be my truth, and then we all help each other, and life really does become more like quote or like not quote quotations a dream than when we choose to will it to be in such ways.
Totally, man. Totally, dude. Yeah, it's really beautiful to again, just see the results of, our intentions manifested into this reality. Because again, like that is kind of like, what makes a dream a dream. A dream is, an environment in which intentions create reality, and in which your reality is a reflection of you. And so like you're right. It's really cool to again just reflect on like that bigger picture of like, yeah, like what is the dreams that we are creating here, and the word dreams, like, it holds a lot of weight within our culture, because we talk about that and in a lot of different ways. Like you ask a kid when they're younger, like, what are your dreams? Or you ask an adult that too, like, what are your dreams? that can mean a lot of different things. It's like, what are your aspirations? What do you want to see for yourself? What is it that you want to get out of this lifetime? What are you ready to receive in that sense? So again, like the concept of dreams is intricately woven into our very being, in terms of like who it is that we are on a soul level. So yeah, dude, Evan, thank you again for sharing, man, and thank you for sharing some of that dream experience. I think it's really cool. You're saying how, like, again, you and Jared were talking afterwards last broadcast a couple weeks ago, and then we had a dream that night. Again, it's just the concept of like literally us as a team, as a tribe, as a soul family being connected within the physical and the dream space is, again, very exciting, because I feel like a big part of what it is that we are doing here, we are just beginning to familiarize ourselves with this spiritual technology that is already inside of us, right? Because again, like, what if I were to literally say to you that by 2020 more and more of us will be actively engaging with each other in the dream space regularly, and so in the same way we're having these hangouts here, what if that starts happening within the dream space? What if more and more of us are actually able to consciously show up at the dream tree, not just in a way where it's like, oh wow, like, did that happen? But it's like, no, like, that did happen, and so obviously, like, within dreams, it's really interesting when you're meeting other people, because oftentimes there's the idea of like them just being a reflection of you, being a projection of you. It's not even like so much your friend as much as it is like how you see your friend, if it is someone showing up like that. But at the same time, and again, this is where a bit of the mystery comes in, so we get to interpret it. At the same time, it seems that there's like energy patterns that show up in our dream that reflect archetypes, and we ourselves can be that archetype as well. Our friends can be that archetype. And so like, and also the idea of like it literally being a part of their soul showing up in the dream. And so this is where I've had multiple people over the many years of doing this project and putting myself out there, multiple people who've come up to me and talked to me and said like, like, oh, Brendon, like you were in my dream. And even in the dream, like you were teaching me about something, or we were doing something really cool together, or like we were doing free hugs, or like Spider-Man stuff or Jedi stuff together, right? Kind of like all these like fantastical ideas that I constantly like associate with what it is that we're creating. And so from my perspective, I'm just like, oh, that's really cool. I'm really interested to hear that. And so again, it's kind of like a bit of this mystery where it's like, oh, is that just a projection of me in their mind? Or was there literally a fractal of my soul who is actually like engaging with other souls, people connected on this level in the dream space, like even, and that kind of, again, encourages me to become more conscious of my own dreams, because theoretically, it seems like there's already this idea that it keeps showing up within other people's dreams. So even if I'm not consciously remembering it, there's still like an active part of my soul that's like going around and keeping busy on that plane. And another thing I just want to bring up real quick, because I feel this is like a really, really beautiful idea, and something that a lot of us, have even had experiences with or can relate to. Maybe even in some cases, not necessarily, but, just to know that there is something out there related to this, is the idea of like, again, kind of having shared dreams with people who we have like an emotional connection to, even on like a romantic level. So like in terms of, think of it as like soulmates or twin flames, if you want to kind of use that term in the general sense. I think it's fascinating to talk about this from the bigger perspective, from the general sense of like seeing how within dream spaces, like soulmates can actually interact with themselves, perhaps even like outside of linear time, where you'll hear about somebody having like a dream of someone, and then they'll meet them in person, and it'll be like, holy crap, like I feel like I knew you before we met, type thing, or like I dreamt about you before we met, or like even like in an ongoing like process of the story, like some person might show up in another person's dream, and it might open up their heart, and it might just kind of like awaken them to like this kind of celestial connection, this celestial like love or bond or romance that is like shared between like two beings. So again, it's my point in this is that take note of how love still plays a fundamental aspect within our dream spaces, and how we can actually use love to kind of like create connection and to gravitationally like pull ourselves towards each other. So my point in talking about the soulmates thing is just to know that that is there as a possibility, and then to work with that same concept of understanding how we can do that as a community. And so if we are, if soulmates can come together kind of in that dream space, almost again kind of like not even necessarily by will, it might be a case where it's just like, I wasn't trying to dream about you, but I dreamed about you, and then sometimes you try to dream about them, but like sometimes it's just like the universe is just like, oh, by the way, like here's like a very important soul that you like already love beyond space and time, and you're going to like interact with them within the dream space, and you're going to have this beautiful experience, and it's going to change how you show up in the physical life as well. And so again, just kind of like knowing that, like, what happens if we take that same concept and we apply it to like our love that we have for community, and acknowledging that there is a part of our own destiny where like many of us, all of us listening to like this broadcast in this community, have the potential to like meet up on these planes, right? So again, it's just like, there are these virtual worlds within us, and virtual isn't even the best world, but it isn't the best word, but like we're getting access to them. We're learning how to access these like different servers. We're logging into different zones. And again, like as more and more of us become conscious on that level, I think it's just going to continue to open all of us up to like the bigger picture of what it means to be just human. Because again, like truth be told, and I'll pass the talking stick around for, maybe Turner or Jesse or Ron or anybody else who wants to share, like if you, again, this is like the fact of the matter that a lot of people are already doing this, but if you are living your life and you are not engaging with your dreams, and you are not remembering your dreams, and you are not giving any credence or attention to your dreams, then you are literally missing out on, like, I don't even want to just say like 50% of your dreams, because I don't even think it's a solid ratio. Like, I think it's more of a fractal where, like, if you were to say like, there's 50% of our waking dream and then 50% of our sleeping dream, and then therefore if you're not paying attention to your dreams, you're missing out on 50% of your life. I don't think it works like that, because I think that 50% of our dream space actually is like a fractal that actually like opens up into like 1,000% of our life that we haven't even accessed. Like it's not like a same quantitative value. So like if you're not paying attention to your dream space, you are literally like, just like not opening yourself up to this bigger potential to experience yourself. But at the same time, we have to acknowledge that it's important to honor the fact that some souls consciously choose that some souls will consciously choose just to focus within this physical reality and to disconnect themselves from that kind of like spiritual identity. And that is okay. It's okay if that is what the soul chooses. And that's where like we don't have to like, for those who are ready to awaken, they will awaken, and we provide guidance and we kind of lead the way and everything like that, and we can hold space and support. But you can't force someone to awaken if they didn't come here to awaken on that level. That's okay. Evidently everyone does awaken in one way or another, even if it's at like the moment of death, so to speak. But again, just acknowledging that like some souls will literally come into this incarnation to not awaken in that degree, because fact of the matter is that awakening can oftentimes like involve suffering, and some souls are just like, nope, like I don't want that. Like I'd rather just kind of live a simple life, kind of, like numb myself to comfortness and stuff like that, or just kind of live in this kind of like, unconscious state. Again, it's really weird to think that like some souls are like consciously doing that, because I don't feel like that's like their destiny, but at the same time it is their choice to kind of like live on this kind of like, I don't want to even just use the term lower vibration, but it is kind of like lower vibration in terms of the frequency of our own creative potential, so to speak, where we're living, again, just kind of like zombified, so to speak. But it's just kind of like honoring the idea that, again, being able to like awaken oftentimes like comes with a conscious choice, and it comes with willpower, and it comes with intention. And some people, if they don't feel called to that, that's okay. But for those of us who do, we are opening ourselves up into more self-mastery, into gaining experiences that we could potentially carry with us onto our next incarnation, if you even want to think about it that way. Yeah, and again, it's just like, and you were saying as well, Evan, the idea of like wanting dreams that are magical. I agree. I feel like that is something that I feel wholeheartedly pulled to. Like, I feel that there are parts of myself that have like these very kind of like magical connections, you know, like part of me is just like, oh, you know, like I want to connect with like the elf parts of myself, or kind of like those other realm parts of myself. I want to connect with the part of my soul that's like literally lived on other planets in Andromeda or Atlantis and things like that, right? And so again, within the dream space, I think we have the ability to kind of like open ourselves up into these magical experiences, which again are just like can be so profoundly beautiful, but at the same time can be like so sometimes like hard, challenging, suffering, right? But they grow us, they expand us, and so it's just kind of like it's a yin yang thing, man, right? Like it's a yin yang thing. Like the more you open up, the more you're opening yourself up to the challenges, but those challenges are beautiful when you can show up for them from that perspective of self-mastery, of understanding that like this too will help us grow, this too will level me up, this too will teach me more about resilience and patience and everything like that. Whereas some souls are just like they're like, I don't want that, you know, just like no, they just close off that entire like chapter, and then they just kind of like maintain a certain kind of like baseline, and that's okay, you know, that's okay. It's kind of like we just got to remember that, you know, we're holding from a place of non-judgment, but at the same time it's understanding that from like a general perspective there's great potential within every single one of us, and to be able to help like and there's a lot of suffering going on, and to be able to help alleviate suffering through conscious self-awareness and through self-mastery is a very beautiful gift for us to be able to share. But last thing I'll just say, you know, again, as we dream, as we get deeper into our dreams, I feel like it is helping us bring more magic into this world. That is part of the objective that I am here to carry, to literally bring more magic into this world. Magic in terms of like how we see things, how we understand our connection to things, and how we understand our potential. Being able to see more of the bigger picture. Anyways, let's keep talking for a little bit more, guys. We'll wrap this up within the next half hour. Turner, did you want to say something? Yes. Okay, Turner, I'm going to pull up your microphone. Go right ahead, dude. Passing it over to you.
Okay, so test.
Test. You're good. Yep.
Okay, cool. So, kind of talking about before about like your phones and not staring into them. Okay, so like I sleep next to my phone, like my phone's my alarm, and even worse, I use my phone as my dream journal. So as soon as I wake up,
Right.
I'm like staring into my phone, like putting it on. I don't know. I guess I should
Does that
write
work
it,
for
but
you though?
write
Like, does it work
it
well
works.
enough?
It works really well. It's actually really hard for me to write it because it's so like, you know, it's just hard. It's like so much more energy to like
I
write it,
agree.
you know, and I'm like half asleep. It's just so much easier. I'm actually trying to move even more into like just having a voice recorder and speaking,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because then you don't have
I
to worry
agree.
about typing and grammar and, you know, messing up and that kind of stuff.
Most of my dream journal is illegible, even to me, because I'm just like, that's like half a word I just wrote. Like, what was that? I go back and I'm just like, can't even read what it was, let alone what it was referencing. So
I have to
yeah,
go back and like
using
refix a
technology.
lot of them. But yeah, I actually just wanted to share a dream that I had very recently. If you guys are, it's not super long,
Go
so
for it, man. Absolutely. Thank you.
I titled it Hotel Shenanigans. Okay. I had a dream. I was with my brother and we were at this hotel place. I don't know if we were playing video games in our hotel room or not, but we were just hanging out and talking in the room. We eventually left the room and went out into the hall trying to stay quiet. Our room was like on the third or fourth or wherever level it was. It was kind of higher up. We eventually left the room and went out into the hall, and we were trying to stay quiet to not like bother all the people in their rooms. And there was this woman who came out from the stairs with her child. Um, they were not quiet at all. They were super loud, and her son had a bloody finger. Not that it was bad; it was just like a prick, you know, not like a super bloody finger, but bloody enough you could tell. Once they went into their room, we went down the stairs from where they came from, and my brother stopped at the first flight while I went, you know, continued on the way down. And when I got to the bottom where, like, you know, the entrance was or whatever, there was a drop of diluted blood on the rail, more towards the bottom of the stairs, and then a bigger pool of diluted blood. On the floor, it looked like someone was stabbed. There was that much blood. It started from the wall and was all over the floor, and it wasn't fresh, but you could definitely tell it was blood. I remember saying that there was so much blood. Heading back up, we ran into my like engineering teacher from high school that everyone thought was a racist. He was really happy to see me again and was telling me of his new job here, picking fruit from the trees and tending to the flower garden.
Oh, 1 second, folk. If you're hearing my voice, I think we just had a bit of a glitch in in my browser. We're just gonna give this a second because I'm pretty sure you guys can still hear me. Drop an 1111 real quick on the YouTube chat if you guys can hear me. But for some reason, my browser just froze, which means that the audio coming through from Turner just froze. So hang tight. Actually, I don't even know if I can. Wow, this is weird because it's like literally just holding up everything right now. Why did that even happen? I don't even know, guys. Everything's just kind of like literally frozen right now. Hopefully you guys may still be able to hear me. I'm just going to give this a second and see if the browser is going to refresh. In the meantime, assuming this may or may not be recorded, just thanking you guys so much for being here. And oh man, come on browser, you can do this. I didn't even do anything. I don't understand why it's like crashing and stuff like that. Oh jeez. Okay, thank you guys again for being here. Thank you guys again for being a part of this circle. Wow, why is it literally like it's like literally not responding, my browser, which means if I force quit it means that the broadcast will stop. But I don't want to do that. No, why is it doing that? I'm pretty sure you guys, I think you guys can still hear me right now because this is like literally broadcasting through not just my browser, but other stuff. Oh man, why? What is going on? Okay, well, I'm not too sure if there's much I can do about this right now other than restarting my browser. And if that's the case, thank you so much for tuning into this broadcast. If this happens to be the end of it, I'll just give a quick outro. Tune in again for future broadcasts and be sure to join us for more at paradigmshiftcentral.com. So I'm just gonna try something here real quick. We'll see whether or not this totally crashes it. Wow, okay, that's unfortunate, man. Like I just like I've never seen the browser literally just like completely freeze across all windows like this. So okay. It looks like, actually I'm just gonna check my playback and stuff. Is that even coming through? Yep, you guys can still hear me on YouTube. I've just confirmed that. So if I refresh this, I think it's going to close my YouTube, which I think will stop the broadcast. So if that's the case, guys, I just want to be able to invite you to just join me in taking a breath here. Again, be sure to tune in for the future Sunday broadcasts for our global meditation. We're going to be doing kind of like a dream meditation there. And yeah, we'll kind of make up for what would have been the end of the meditation of this broadcast. I apologize, guys. Like, this is honestly like not really within my control. Like, if I restart the browser, it's going to shut down the stream. So I'm going to try literally doing an end for this show. And if it ends it, it ends it. And if it doesn't end it, then we'll just keep going. But just inviting you here, just take a quick couple gentle breaths here. So just inviting yourself to close your eyes. Gentle inhales through the nose. Gentle exhales through the nose and the mouth. Just creating space for yourself to be able to continue to invite and embody the intentions that you have to develop your dream practice. Just really continuing to align with the visions that you wish to see, for the dreams that you are worthy of, for the many magical realms beyond just this one. So So let's take another couple breaths here. Gentle inhales. And gentle exhales. And even in this state, just feeling what it's like just to be able to enter into theta just in this moment as you just slow your breath down. Just slow your mind down, yet you become more alert, more aware. So just honoring you for showing up here. Thank you again for being here. Let this continue to inspire you, level up, and continue to help all of us as we awaken within this dream together. So thank you again for being here, and just gently open your eyes. Continue to breathe nice and slow. And I'm going to run a test. We're going to restart the browser. If this completely crashes it, you'll know. If it doesn't, we'll be back. So stay tuned. This has never happened before. Again, this is just like browser completely froze. So thanks for understanding, guys. And again, please feel free to continue to check out more support on Patreon. Join us on the team Discord chat. Links for all of that are in the video info. I'm going to pull up some music here. We're going to listen to this music, and you'll know if we're still going, if this broadcast doesn't end right here. So if it does, that's okay. And if it doesn't, we'll come back and we'll hear a little bit more from the team. So thank you again, and as always, keep it shifty, and we will see you in the future, hopefully within like a minute. So bringing up the music here. Enjoy. This music's just going to play for the next little bit. So as I try and restart the browser, hang tight, guys. And if this is the end, thank you again for tuning in. Much love. We may still be able to maintain the broadcast. Just keep listening. Just give me a minute. I'm relatively optimistic. I think we're gonna be okay. Which may not be at the end right now. Okay, hang tight. We're about to find out. Watch this. I think we're jumping back in. Alright. Let's see. Check. Alright. Hey. Hey guys, can you guys still hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. Well, we're still broadcasting live right now, guys. That was close. We thought for a second there, I was like, is this the end of the show? And then
so like everything we were just
no, we're still going. We're actually still on air right now. So just a heads up.
Turner, you kept us going.
Yeah. I was able to like restart the browser and get things back on track. So
so
as far
when you went off, that
you were talking.
segment wasn't-
Yeah, Turner, you were still talking there, and now we're back. So
that all went live.
No, nothing that you guys were saying was talking. It was only just on my audio. So if you were like potentially embarrassed, then no worries, it's all safe. So it's like, oh god, what happened? But no, all right, well that's good because yeah, I just literally did like a fake outro there. But I'm gonna double check and make sure that things are still happening in the live chat. So for anybody in the live chat, drop an 1111. Let us know if you guys can still hear us. And I'm just gonna open this up real quick. Sorry, you might get some feedback in a second. And we're just gonna finish off this conversation. Again, we were close to the end of the broadcast anyways. I just want to be able to give these guys a couple more moments to be able to share, and again, just like reflecting on any additional perspectives, practical tips that they want to be able to share with us as with the listening audience. So just give me a second here. I'm just trying to part of the reason we're raising funds within this project is so eventually we can get a better computer. So, and again, this computer's not like the worst computer, but again, when you're running broadcasts, it just helps to have a better one. All right, 11:11, we got the feed going. We're still live. Thank you for those of you who didn't drop out right away. You guys are the best. I really appreciate it. So we're doing awesome things here as a community, seriously. So if there's a couple like tech hiccups along the way, then that just happens. 2 tech hiccups in one broadcast. Wow, that's never happened before. Oh god, I'm so cursed. All right, Turner, I'm going to pass the talking stick over to you. We're back up and running. Things are fine. And yeah, to be honest, I don't remember exactly where you were. You were talking about your dream. So if you want to even just go off on any other points, please feel free to do that. And otherwise, we'll just pass the talking stick over to whoever else wants to share. So huge shout out to you guys in the chat. Awesome. I love you guys. Okay, Turner, go ahead. Pass it over to you.
Yeah, the dream I just thought was really weird. I haven't really gone and really done any interpretation of the dream, trying to dig a little deeper to understand the message of the dream, because I do feel like a lot of parts of the dream are really strange, and kind of like looking a little deeper past the surface and finding the message underneath. Like the apple or the peach that had an apple, like the teacher that came out from my high school doing like the opposite of what he did in school, the blood and the child and the mother, like those are all just really strange like things that came up in the dream. And I feel like those could reveal maybe some hidden messages, or even possibly like laying out a path that I'm following right now, a little bit of guidance or foresight. I actually just kind of wanted to share this drawing that I did while we were doing this broadcast, and I was listening to everyone doing it. I was kind of doing like this flow drawing, not really thinking or having a plan of what I'm drawing, just kind of, working on it as I was going. And it starts with like this person down here, kind of like in a dreaming state with all of his chakras and kind of beaming out into there. The Merkaba in the middle with all these eyes directing their like focus and energy into it. And I don't know, I was just kind of working on it. Forrest, I cannot eat enough apples. I eat so many apples. It's if the dream is telling me to eat more apples, I would just be a giant apple. I would be one apple.
Well, it's a very symbolic thing, right? Because apple's like basically the toroidal field too. So you're basically just like eating pure wisdom.
That's true. A peach and it has the bite of an apple. Maybe it's like 2 different energies that are, coming from one thing. I don't know. I need a little bit. I need to dig a little deeper.
A few more dreams and it'll be a little bit clearer. So, give me more apple dreams, he says.
I need a dream to interpret the dream that I had.
Well, maybe you're gonna go to like the team dream tree and maybe it'll like pull an apple off there or something like that.
Yes, so, I would love to eat some apples from the dream tree.
It's a dream tree, so it has like any fruit you want. That's basically how it works, right? So, well, that's interesting, dude. So, how did that dream make you feel? Quick recap, and then we'll pass it around and get this broadcast wrapped up pretty soon.
That's a really interesting question, because I don't know how it made me feel. It wasn't like I was super happy. It wasn't like I was sad. It wasn't even like I was scared. It was just like I was following a path and I wasn't really reactive. I was more confused, if anything. But I wasn't really reacting. There wasn't really any emotion that came up besides when I saw the peach tree in the middle of the hall. Then I was like, yes, peaches. That's amazing. Let me grab some peaches from this tree that's in the middle of this hallway. I don't know.
Yeah, no, that sounds like a dream, all right. So that's cool. All right, Turner, is there anything else you want to share? Otherwise, I wanted to be able to check in. We still got Evan and Ron, and I just want to be able to like pretty much let's just go around the circle one last time. Anything else that you guys want to share, and then we'll get into our closing dream tree meditation, and then we'll wrap it up. So, Turner, is that good for now?
Yeah, it's good for now. Looks like Forrest had something to share.
Okay, cool. All right, you guys, I'm gonna have to. I can't access your microphones right now because again, I don't know why it's giving me this error and stuff like that. Apparently, it's saying I'm not the moderator for this call, so I need you guys to pull up your microphone. So, Ron, can you manually pull up your microphone?
Hello?
Yeah. Okay, we're good. And Evan, you'll need to do that when you need to talk too, and make sure you guys put him down when you're not talking. That's fine. All right,
Okay.
Ron, go ahead, man. Passing the talking stick over to you. Additional thoughts, ideas, practical tips,
Yeah.
and moving it closer to the end of the broadcast.
Okay. Well, do you want to hear my dream?
Yes.
Or do we have time
Yes,
for my
yes,
dream?
please. Absolutely.
First of all, I just want to give a hand to Turner for keeping us live.
I have no idea what happened while I was gone, guys, but thumbs
did
up.
wonderful.
I'm sure it was good.
He did great. He showed us his art. He told us a story. Started telling us another journey, psychedelic journey.
Oh man, the unseen broadcast. So
yeah, exactly. It got real.
Thanks, Turner.
So once again, thanks, Turner. You're awesome. Yeah, I'm really liking the energy. Like you guys have some just very positive energy. I really like it. So I was on a land, a very sacred land, a land where there's absolutely no electronics. It's literally, going back to our primal energies. And at this land, we sit at the fire,
And
and
can
that's
anyone
where we
else
have our
hear Forrest?
talks. Oh yeah, can you guys hear me?
I can hear Forrest. Can Evan's having trouble hearing you, but Turner, you can hear Forrest, right?
I can't hear him either. No.
Wow. Okay, everything's totally glitched out right now. If you guys want to hear Forrest, turn into the YouTube temporarily. I don't know. I'm sorry, guys. Technology. We're making it work though. Forrest,
Yeah,
I can still hear you.
exactly.
Everything that you're saying is coming through, Forrest, for the people listening. So, and
Okay.
Turner and Evan, just make sure you guys mute your mic when you're not talking. So, yeah,
In the
sorry
mirror
guys. Go ahead, Forrest. Continue.
Okay. So so at this land, we have a big fire, and kind of like a campfire, when you go camping, and everybody's sitting around, and we're talking, and that's our TV. Fire becomes like our TV, and we, instead of sitting around the TV and being quiet because you don't want people to interrupt what's being said on TV, we're actually sitting around the fire, and the fire's being quiet so that we can all talk and connect to each other. It's kind of interesting how that works out. Anyway, so I'm talking to these people, and suddenly there's this black panther that just comes out of these bushes to my left, and I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody, like, play dead, right? And it just runs right past me, right behind me, and it attacks like this spider, like, uh thing on the tree. It was more like a mixture between a spider and a parasite on this tree. And as it was devouring that parasitic spider thing, I was like, okay, everybody, play dead. And so we all, like, just laid there and played dead. And I just slowly hear the footsteps of this black panther coming closer and closer to me, and I'm like, oh my gosh, it's gonna eat me. What do I do? Do a fight, flight? The fight or flight kind of kicked in, right? And then somehow I just got this, just I just knew that relaxing was the right option, and so I just stayed relaxed, and it put its paw on my chest, and it just kind of rested its chest on my chest, and it was like, we're family. And then I woke up, and that was a very intense, that was a cool dream. And what's trippy about that dream is, I don't whenever I tell this dream, I don't start with, I had a dream that this, because to me it wasn't a dream, because that night I was at that campfire talking to those people that were also in my dream at the same campfire, sitting at the same spot, talking to the same people in my dream as I did, like, hours before I went to sleep. So it was the most real of real dreams that I've had. And it's to me, I know this sounds weird, but it's almost hard for me to say it was a dream because it just felt so unbelievably real.
Yeah.
And I've had another one since then, which felt just as real with the Jaguar energy. So yeah, that's my dream. I just wanted to share that.
That's
Hope it's
awesome, man.
encouraging.
That's awesome. Yeah, and again, you know, just kind of like being aware of like the language that we're using and stuff. You know, one thing I'll talk about, and I'll just mention here real quick again, and just directly to you, Forrest, as well, because you know, for the people listening, I think it's an important point. You know, we talk about this idea of like you know, oh, if it's a dream, then that means it wasn't real, or what is real, and we get into this idea of semantics and things like that. You know, what does real mean? For me, very simply put, I boil it down to this idea that
Oh gosh.
that if the soul is able to learn from it, if the soul is able to learn from the experience, if we are able to grow from it, then that actually makes it real. So hold on, I think they accidentally muted me within the chat. Sorry, now you guys can hear me, right? For a second you couldn't hear me because you guys accidentally muted me in the chat. Forrest, can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, you guys can hear me. The broadcast could still hear me. It's okay.
It's funny watching Turner's reaction.
Yeah, Turner's like freaking out here. I'm gonna put him on screen so people can watch him.
I need to get him
laughing about it. Anyways, Ron, I was just saying real quick, you know, like if your soul can learn from it, then that makes the experience real. So whether it happened in a dream, whether it happened in a psychedelic experience, a journey, or whatever, you know, like if you can learn from it, if you can experience it, if you can integrate it, then that can make it real. So. Man, Turner's just losing it right now. So again, you know, let this be like a good, like kind of like trigger to do like a reality
the joy of
check
laughter
and stuff like
laughter
that.
is healing.
Yeah, you know, like absurdity is a great reality check, right? That's why like it's good to have like trinkets and stuff on you, things that will make you like question reality, question the state of where you are right now. Like that is a very powerful thing to help like bring about lucidity into your dream state as well. And again, we've only just like, oh, there's so much stuff that we've only just scratched the surface on, and that's why we do this broadcast once a month, because there's always more and more to get into, and I want to be able to get into that stuff, not just from a theoretical perspective, but from like a wisdom side of things, from my own experience. I want to get better at my dream, you know, my reality checks and things like that as well, so I can, you know, like really be able to like share it, not just from a concept, but as a experience. So, but yeah, Ron, was there anything else you wanted to share? Because I think that was like a very powerful dream with your Jaguar experience. And like, do you have like has the Jaguar shown up to you in other experiences and like other medicine ceremonies? Like, is that yeah? So the Jaguar is like a recurring almost like spirit guide
that's
for you.
My medicine. Yeah, that's my medicine. Now I'm not saying that the so I think that this energy that we work with in ceremony, at least the energy that I work with, us humans have so many names for it, but we are so we like to label everything, and so at first I want to say, oh, this is my animal spirit guide, and it's like, well, what if it's the same energy that was that beautiful woman-like entity that you saw also, but it's just that this energy, it changes in any form it needs to in order to connect with you.
Yes.
It could be a monk, it could be a beautiful woman, it could be a jaguar, and because it feels like the same energy, and and for me, it just seems to all kind of just funnel to Mother Earth, this divine feminine energy of the earth that wants to connect with us so much. And I feel it. I literally feel it. And that's what I feel like this dream is. It's a way that she can communicate with me that I resonate with. So yeah, I'm all about the Jaguar. I totally dig the Jaguar, and I've felt it, come over me and dance, and it's almost like it, not like it took my body, but it's like, well, you could actually dance like this if you allow it.
It showed.
And because I allowed it, right, and I could stop it at any moment. Nothing has ever taken over my body. However, my body has done animal-like things because I allowed that energy to. And that's where I think animal shape shifting, I think that's where the idea shape shifting came from. But anyway, I'm kind of digressing, but yeah.
It's all connected though, right? Yeah. Like it's fascinating to think that, again, like we can literally shape shift within our dreams, and again, it's not just like physically shape shifting; it's shape shifting like the energy that we're exhibiting, that we're kind of like exemplifying and stuff. I love that idea of thinking of ourselves as shapeshifters, because I think we are more shapeshifters than we give ourselves credit for in a lot of ways. So. And
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and honestly, something you said there really kind of like touched me inside, like in a certain way. It resonated really deeply. And again, it goes back to something that what I was talking about earlier. This idea of like thinking of like the mother goddess energy as being the curator for our dreams, being the one who kind of like chooses what dreams we have, but not even choosing what dreams we have, but actually showing up in our dreams. I think that is a fascinating idea, to think about like how every single dream that we have is actually an intimate conversation with God, like with Mother Goddess, like with Father Goddess, like in one sense or another. Like we are literally, we are God having a conversation with itself, or we are the children of God or something like that. But every night, I love that idea that like from that higher conscious entities are literally showing up to us in many different forms. So you're right. You might have a different dream where it might be, it might be this entity, it might be that entity, it might be this entity, but essentially it could be like the same love, the same core energy that is just showing up to us in different ways, again, to be able to like connect to us, to reach a message to us. So it's, and again, I feel like within that it can kind of branch into other ideas, because I feel like there are like kind of like individual identities of entities that can kind of come through, and maybe sometimes, if we're having experiences with like, an actual star being or something like that, like maybe that could actually be a star being, or like an alien or something, maybe that could actually be that quote unquote alien. But then sometimes it's like literally just like the primordial energy of the goddess coming in to our dreams to show up to us. So think about that, just like think about how much that could shift the way, like each night as you go to sleep, you're like, wow, this is an opportunity for me to literally talk to Mother Goddess. Like what? Like do you realize like how freaking crazy that is? And if we even just kind of open up to that belief, like what that can like really expand into, like, man, there's so much that we can do within the dream space. And I love, even like, this is kind of like a side tangent idea, but I'll just plant it real quick. And then I want to share a dream story as well real quick. But also the idea of thinking about how we can actually like do grid work within our dreams to like put like healing, like almost Reiki energy into the earth, into the energetic planes within our dreams. So like imagine kind of evoking almost like this wizard, witch, mage, children of like the energetic patterns of the earth, and literally being able to like connect with the earth in your dreams, and literally being able to like put your intention in the same way we would do through a group meditation, but very directly putting our intention into like the energetic grid well in our dreams. Like what if our dreams are actually there so that we can, do things that will affect the physical world in a sense. It's crazy, right? Like the physical world affects the dream world. The dream world affects the physical world. They are not as far apart as they may seem. They may feel like they're worlds away, but in fact, like they are constantly in the same plane at the same time. Again, it's just kind of crazy. We think of our dreams as being, we don't know where they are, right? Like it's kind of hard for us to kind of pinpoint. It's like, are they inside of us? Are they outside of us? Like what is going on here, right? We just know we're somewhere. And at the same time, it's almost just very simply understanding that the dreams that are being experienced right now are like literally inside of us as well as like amongst us, so to speak. It's like a weird thing, man. We are in a womb right now, and it is swirling around with like all sorts of dimensions and dream energy and stuff. It's kind of hard to even explain. But yeah, I want to be able to share a story real quick, and I want to be able to get this broadcast wrapped up within the next 20 minutes, give or take, even though I said that like 20 minutes ago. I swear we're professionals. But,
just one thing,
go ahead, Ron.
please.
I was about to say, yeah, Ron, if there's anything else you want to share, and then I'll share a dream story after. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, yeah, I was done, but then what you said earlier for a minute, like that we are in a womb. This, 2 Saturdays ago, I had a very intense journey, and in this journey, I asked, what is this existence? What is this reality? And this energy, which is the mother goddess energy, the divine feminine, she told me that we're in an enclosure, much like what humans would think of as a womb. And these kind of experiences is what humans go through before they're about to leave the womb. And she said that they're a lot like birthing pains, how both the mother and the baby feel the birthing pains. They feel the contractions.
Yeah.
And the way that we can help how we can go through these birthing pains with the least pain is love. Love is literally the answer. I know how tacky that sounds, but love can make these pains less than what they are. And that was the message that I got. And so you're, just by you saying womb, triggered that within me.
Yeah, dude. And again, you know, like me saying womb isn't just like a new idea or a random idea. Again, you know, it's this wisdom coming up within us, and we're kind of we're not meant to really be able to see the entire big picture, but like from where we are, we're starting to piece it together. We're starting to understand. And yeah, and I think as we do that, for me, it makes me appreciate it even more. You know, like every single day I feel I appreciate life even more. And this is a magical thing, right? Like, think about how powerful this idea is, and how, what if all of us adapted this? What if every single day we fell more in love with life? Think about that. Even in the midst of like stress and everything like that, right? Like, again, just going back to the self-mastery and the dreams and everything like that. And like, this is real quick, this is just like a side tangent, but it's valuable information, right? Like, again, stress in itself is not always a bad thing. There's like distress and eustress. Distress is like when we're kind of like not in a place where we want to be there, but eustress is in a place where it's like kind of intentionally evoked. And just think about the very simple idea that, and again, this is not fully related to dreams, but it's really important. When we're weight training, when we're growing our muscles, what are we actually doing? We're actually tearing our muscles open. And then that tear gets filled in with new proteins and new like material matter. And so from a soul level, how do we grow? Like, we literally have to like tear open parts of ourselves, make open these like little spaces, and then more matter fills in, and then it gets bigger. And then we grow a little bit bigger, and then we tear ourselves open again, and then it fills in with more matter, and then it gets a little bit bigger. And then we literally just keep doing this, and we keep getting bigger. And that's like our consciousness expanding. Like, we can't fit more consciousness into ourselves unless we kind of like create that little bit of stress to kind of open ourselves up. And again, the stress can come in many forms. The stress can come in challenges that we create for ourselves, you know, like training ourselves in that sense. So again, you know, let ourselves see how working on our dream practices can actually be that additional like challenge, that additional like call to action that will open us up a little bit more. Like, yeah, it's going to take a little bit of work, but what you're like, just know that like there are gifts waiting for you. The universe wants you to do that work. It wants you to do that work. It has amazing things for you. You can show up for it. So yeah, Ron, thank you again for sharing. I just want to share a really quick story just on like the important potent symbolism of dreams, and then I'll pass it back to just Evan or Turner or even Ron again, just any closing thoughts, and then we'll just go into our closing meditation, and everyone will go to sleep at that point. And sleep patterns are so important, right? Getting good sleep is so important. And again, just throwing this out there because we talked about it last time. As the seasons change and it's getting into winter, I encourage people to try going to sleep with like a cold space. and notice how that affects your dreams, because that was one thing that we talked about last broadcast. So now that it's like almost November for us in Kenyatta, in the faraway mystical lands of Kenyatta, it's like Narnia. Just be aware of how literally going to sleep with a colder space, cold body temperature can actually shift the way in which you dream, and it can help you have like deeper dream states. What I was going to say, related back to symbolism in dreams, this isn't a dream that happened recently. This actually happened a long time ago. I've shared it way back in the past. I'm sure there could be some people tuned into this who would have heard me share it, but even then they might not remember. But long story short, it was just like this potent symbolic dream that I had, and I'm just sharing it with you guys just to be able to share a dream story at the very least, and also because it's kind of cool and it kind of like shows a bit about my own path or my soul or something. And I feel like that's what dreams do, right? They are like a magnifying glass to look at our soul, to show us parts of our souls, to show us who we are beyond just this one lifetime, to show our destiny, to show our purpose to ourselves so we can see it. And in the dream, basically, long story short, let me just make sure I'm telling it right. Yeah, so basically, in the dream, this was like pre-2012, so this is before 2012, so like there's all that hype going on and stuff like that. In the dream, long story short, what it was is there was a bunch of people who were tied with ropes around their ankle, attaching them to the ground while they floated like balloons, meaning that they were basically like defying quote unquote gravity, and they were suspended in the air. And I myself was one of them, and I had like this rope around my ankle that was connecting me to the ground, but if that rope wasn't there, I would float up into the sky. And then I was looking around and I was seeing other people, and some people, like, they were disconnecting their rope, or maybe it was just disconnecting on its own, and then they were starting to like float away, and they were floating away, and they were floating away. And I was looking around and I was like seeing different people doing this. And then I was just like, okay, I'm observing what's happening. But then what I consciously did was I actually like grabbed onto my rope and I like pulled myself back down to the ground. And then I remember just kind of like waking up from that and interpreting the symbolism of that, which to me felt very obvious, keyword felt, very obvious, where it was kind of like this idea of, you know, within this journey that we were going through, again, keeping in mind that this was like before 2012, you know, there was all this talk about quote unquote ascension and things like that. You know, for me, it was reminding myself that like my purpose wasn't just to like float away into the next dimension, but rather to ground myself to the work that needed to be done here and now. And so for me, I kind of woke up and I kind of I remember what it felt like to be like, whoa, like I made that with a very powerful choice. I brought myself back down to the ground with a very, like, I was very aware as to like what I was doing, and not just because like, oh, I don't want to fly away, but it was like, no, like I'm bringing myself down to the ground because like I am choosing to stay here because this is my soul destiny, to be here on the ground, to be here to like help my friends, to build community, and there's still so much work that I had to do. So that was just an example of like a really cool dream that I had that really just kind of like helped solidify my own path and my own journey. And then again, even just by being able to share it with you guys, somehow it like amplifies that story, and other like, you know, me sharing that story, you can almost like feel the kind of like experience, and you can kind of put yourself within it, kind of thing. And I feel like that's what many of us have done. There have been some that have kind of like quote unquote floated away, whatever that means. I'm not even trying to put a label on that. But again, you know, there are those of us who are working very intentionally to like keep things balanced and grounded, and to not just like try and escape society, but to try and rebirth it from within, to be here to like help our friends, to help our community, to help our family. So that was just something that I wanted to be able to share. So that was kind of cool. Yeah, and even Forrest saying, wow, sounds like a samadhi, which is like, Forrest, I'm just going to bring up your mic. Can you just explain, like, samadhi is like the ascension process where like the soul kind of goes outside of like the wheel of reincarnation and such. I believe that's what you were suggesting. And Forrest,
right.
Yeah, I don't know, Forrest, any thoughts on what I was just sharing there?
Sure, yeah. So samadhi is pretty much, you'll hear more like Eastern spiritual practices will talk about samadhi in a way as in the body can resonate to such a high frequency that it actually, sorry, not the body, the soul, resonates to such a high frequency that it can bring the mind into this, well, into the cosmos, and almost like a ascension, and almost like a welcome home kind of thing. And then the person or the soul realizes, wait, I have so much, and it's not attachment. Since it's not the same as attachments, it's compassion. It's that they have so much more compassion for the ones that are left on the world, that they choose to come back into the body to now have a life of awakening others. And so you'll see a lot of them will go to prisons and shelters and so on, trying to, awaken these people that are in such dark, parts of their lives. And it's kind of like the calling of a monk who, an honest monk anyway. So anyway, that's how I understand it anyway.
Yeah. No, I definitely, like that, the being of service energy was definitely like
Yes.
a big part of what I was feeling through that experience. So yeah.
Yes, the service to others rather than service to self.
Yeah, not trying
even
to
when it comes to getting to heaven.
Yeah, exactly, right? Like heaven can wait, man. Like this work needs to be done here and now type thing. So I'm not,
Right.
like, if you opt out, you opt out. Like that's a pretty serious choice. So, like
Yes, it is.
I'm
It's
getting my
not an
quarters
easy
worth, man.
choice.
Like I'm getting my quarters worth. So
Yeah, and
quite
it's not
literally.
easy. I mean, when I've gone, sometimes I don't feel like coming back, but then I
Yeah.
remember I do have my love, my family, my
Yeah, and that
children,
brings you back.
right. And it's not the
Yeah.
same as an attachment.
No,
I would
no.
think of an attachment as in there's no love there. An attachment
It's a
is like,
bond though.
well, what about my car? What about my
Yeah.
job, or, something that doesn't really matter. But when it comes to people that you love that do matter, that's a mission, not an attachment.
Yeah, a purpose, like a higher purpose and stuff. So
Yes, a
yeah.
purpose. Yeah.
So that's really powerful. So yeah, no, thank you for just elaborating. And again, for anybody else out there, like look for things like that within your dreams. Look for your dreams to help reveal to you like more of your purpose, your soul purpose. And I think again, even we haven't talked about this too much this broadcast, but like if you ask the universe for certain things going into your dreams, it can answer them. Like again, like literally each night, what if you are having this conversation with God, with the mother goddess each and every night? And if you ask them a question, ask her a question, she can give you guidance. She can give you an answer. She is literally like an oracle in that sense. It's like a crystal ball that you're looking into each and every night. Again, I think there's this incredibly powerful potential right here within our heart. And we just have to remember how to access it and how to hold it. So Ron, thank you again for sharing. Let's just pass the talking stick around and we'll get close to finishing up. And I want to just do that closing meditation real quick. That's beautiful. Again, thank you again, everyone. This broadcast, really having a good time here. I just want to check in with Evan. We haven't heard from Evan in a while. So Evan, if you want to unmute yourself, go ahead and just make sure that your microphone's working and stuff. And Evan, just passing the talking stick over to you if there's anything else you'd like to share, or again, even just any practical tips or ideas for the audience, and yeah, anything else before we wrap this up. Go ahead. Thanks, dude.
Yeah, a couple more tips. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay. A couple more tips that I wanted to share, and I know a lot of people who are into dreams already know about this, but I'm sure some who are watching in the future don't know. Is reality checks. For lucid dreaming, especially that's helped me extremely. Some people I know it doesn't help at all. It doesn't help them to lucid dream or become lucid, but things like counting your fingers throughout the day and counting how many fingers you have and just looking at your hands, and don't just count them like oh, I'm counting my fingers to check if I'm dreaming. Count them and say like to yourself consciously, I could seriously.
What the? Forrest, why did you mute him, Forrest? Okay, Evan, you have to unmute yourself again. I'm not sure what happened there. I think Forrest, I think you guys can't hear each other or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, he's doing the same thing I was doing
Yeah,
earlier.
I thought so. Forrest, go listen through YouTube if you need to hear him. I know it was no problem, Sven.
So
go ahead, Evan.
Yeah. So yeah, things like counting your fingers and like really telling yourself you seriously could be dreaming, or plugging your nose and trying to breathe in with your mouth closed. And there's other things like that. You can look up a lot of different techniques to uh, reality checks, and that's helped me a lot for the past year or so. I've had 4 or 5 like very vivid lucid dreams, and they've all been initiated, as far as I can remember at the moment, they've all been initiated through me doing reality checks in my dreams. And another thing I was going to mention was African dream root, which I I don't know if many people know about it, but it's uh, something that, and I don't know what culture it is, but in Africa there is a culture or tribe that takes it like constantly, and they like bathe in it, and they make tea out of it and drink it all the time. And a couple months ago I had tried it, and I had had dreams for a couple months, I want to say, and I was smoking a lot of weed. I had stopped smoking weed for at least 2 months, I want to say, and I still wasn't having any dreams. And then I got some of that African dream root, and you can take just a little tiny piece and chew it up, and you can also make tea out of it. But that's all I did, was just chew it up. And the night that I did it, I had extremely vivid, extremely intense dreams. And so yeah, that's another recommendation to help you get into dreams, and especially yeah, if you're not dreaming often for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool. Sweet, man. Yeah, good tips. And there's so many like plants and herbs out there to work alongside with. But yeah, definitely just encouraging people to keep doing more research, and there's a lot of information. Thank goodness we're in that age where there's so much information already outside, online, and lots of things that you can order online as well. So cool. Awesome. Evan, was there anything else, or is that good for now?
I think that's all I wanted to say.
Okay, cool. All right, just checking in. I'm not sure if Turner is still there. Turner, did you want to say anything? And otherwise, we'll move. No, that was a no. You don't? Okay, good. I'm not good, but all right, guys, let's get ready to move into our closing meditation. So if you guys just want to mute yourselves as well, and just at this point, just inviting people to just join me for this closing meditation that we'll do with the dream tree. And oh man, do I have the graphic for the dream tree? Hold on, I gotta like see if I can pull something up here just so we can have the on-screen graphic. But again, what we've been doing within the past little while, each and every dream class broadcast that we do, at the end of the broadcast, we do this like very simple, consistent meditation practice where basically we focus our intention on being able to go to a single shared place, to be able to go to this place of the dream tree, which is basically the idea of a tree in the middle of a field, and we imagine there's like a paradigm shift sigil floating above it, acting as like a portal and a gateway. And then basically we focus on really bringing our sensations into this space, connecting with the tree, crystallizing it with our intention, and then using this practice to be able to return to it, to be able to think about doing this meditation, even like just like as we're going to bed, and everything like that. So I'm just gonna bring up the picture real quick. This is gonna work. So all right, here we go. Sorry, Evan, did you want to say something?
Yeah, there's just one I actually did feel like I want to say, or I should say.
Yeah, go for it.
About that dream, and it's not just that dream, but relating to the dream with Jared and you and me. Also, like one thing I realized that from now is after giving myself time to interpret it and everything, is that like people say everything that's here which I 100 like completely know, like believe that everything that we're experiencing here now uh, first happened in the ether or the astral or the spirit world or whatever you want to call it. And that's something that was huge that I think that dream was me and now showing you guys to be shared with is, and that we've all experienced, is that yeah, things happen in the dream world or whatever you want to call it, astral world or whatever first, and then they happen here. So yeah,
Mm.
just don't take like any dreams lightly is my belief. And yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
Cool, cool. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you. Thank you, man. Cool. Okay, so we'll again just set things up here for our closing meditation. So I'm just going to switch the graphic here on screen. So what you're about to see, for those of you who aren't entirely familiar, is the dream tree. So I'm just going to bring that up on screen right now. And again, so this is like the graphic that we use as part of the promotion. And so just take a quick look at that. Take a note of the paradigm shift sigil above the tree. Take a look at the tree out in the field. And again, what we're going to do, as we're doing this meditation, again, we're going to practice going into theta. And I want you to be aware of what it feels like to be in theta, because get more familiar with that and then be able to like activate that and access it, because that theta state is incredibly valuable. So you can access this through meditation. You can access this again through like play. You can access this again just by kind of like being sleepy and almost like, you know that feeling when you're like having a sleepover with a friend, even when you were younger and stuff like that, and you get all goofy late at night and you get like all like relaxed and everything like that. That's usually like that kind of theta state where you're just kind of like, it's almost like you're kind of like drunk, but you're not drunk type thing. But again, this is also a state, keep in mind, that children are pretty much always in until they're about like 3 or 4 years old. And so like this kind of theta state is a state in which we are naturally open and receptive to, more imagination, more of that magic in that sense. So awesome. Okay, guys. So at this point, just inviting you to get nice and comfortable. We're just going to do a quick body scan, drop us into theta, and then we're going to just do a quick visual guided meditation, connect with the tree, and then we're pretty much gonna wrap it up at that point. And let me just take 1 second here and I'll just get some additional audio to be able to put into the background of this as well. So again, at this point, just inviting you guys to be able to get nice and comfortable and just use this short meditation practice to be able to observe as you go into theta. Like literally, there will be a point where you're just like, oh, like I think that's it. Like I think I'm in theta right now, and you'll know when you're in theta. So, and again, that just comes from like the relaxation, slowing of the breath, and then through there we can kind of move into this receptive space, this open space, and this very kind of like magical space. So awesome. All right, so thank you again, everyone, for being here, for being a part of this sacred circle. Inviting you to get nice and comfortable. Good. And so just allow your body to relax. Just gently close your eyes and become aware of my voice. And just soften your body. Place your hands in a position that you allow them to be comfortable, and do as best as you can to maintain stillness. Just allowing yourself to basically almost prepare to fall asleep in this moment, as if you are about to go to sleep in this moment and what you would need to do. So again, just bringing awareness to the breath. We'll begin. Gentle inhales through the nose. Gentle exhales through the nose and the mouth. Gentle inhales. Gentle exhales. And really even just intentionally slowing your breathing down. Understanding that so much of the state that we are in is conducted by the way we carry our breath. So as the breath continues to naturally flow, to naturally move in and out, we'll gently just scan our body before going deeper into the visualization. So transitioning into theta literally as we speak, with each and every breath, just becoming more relaxed. We'll scan our body now together. Gently bringing our awareness to our feet, to our shins, and to our knees. And through the pure will of your mind, gently allow your feet, your shins, and your knees to gently relax. Bring awareness up to our thighs, our hips, and our groin. Gently allow our thighs, our hips, and our groin to relax. And gently bringing awareness up to our ribs, our stomach, our lower back. And gently allowing our ribs, our stomach, and our lower back to relax. Bringing awareness up to our chest, to our shoulders, to our upper back. Gently allowing our chest, our shoulders, and our upper back to relax. Bring awareness to our biceps, our elbows, our forearms, and our hands. Allow our biceps, our elbows, our forearms, and our hands to relax. Calibrating the body, preparing ourselves to go into these inner worlds. Each breath, relax, moving into theta. Good. Bringing our awareness up to our throat, our chin, our jaw, our tongue, releasing our tongue from the top of the mouth if we choose. Gently allowing our throat, our chin, our jaw, and our tongue to gently relax. Bringing awareness up to our cheeks, our nose, our eyes, our eyebrows. Allow our cheeks, our nose, our eyes, and our eyebrows to relax. Good. And gently bring awareness to conclude our forehead, even our ears, and the rest of our head. And again, just allowing our forehead, our ears, and the rest of our head to gently relax. Just being aware of our breathing and how it may have changed. Just being nice and conscious with our breath. And as you continue to breathe here, let us begin to turn our attention inwards as we begin to move into this space, to move into this rich inner world, one that exists and one that we can arrive within through our will, through story, through intention. And so, with intention as practice, let us slowly bring ourselves into the visualization of being in the field. And off in the distance, you see the dream tree. And this tree can be as magical as you choose to see it. It can be any type of tree that you choose to imagine it as. Maybe not too big, yet not too small. And from a distance, you can see people gathered around it in celebration, in community. And in this moment, bring awareness into your sensations. Feel the feeling of dirt underneath your bare feet. Feel the feeling of grass tickling your ankles. Feel the feeling of air on your skin, even breathing in the air. And taking a moment here to observe the sky while noticing that the sky is basically nighttime yet daytime, meaning you can see the stars yet it is not dark. And yet magical it is. And so from there, even just feeling again the breath move through you, and slowly feeling yourself become lighter and lifting off the ground and gently feeling the gravitational pull of the dream tree while observing the paradigm shift sigil floating above it like a beacon, like a compass, pulsating with its own energy, calling shifters to this place, acting as a stargate. And you feel yourself floating through the air right now. And as much as you are imagining yourself in your physical body that you are used to, keeping in mind that you can also think of yourself literally as a single point of light, pure consciousness. And this body is something that you are merely inhabiting, puppeteering, and experiencing through. Remembering who you are on many levels. And so as this body or this ball of light feeling that you carry with you, gently feeling yourself pulled like gravity towards this tree, like riding on a stream as it moves you closer towards it. And not before long, you arrive at the tree and you are now standing in front of it. And you take this moment to look around and to observe and to see those who have gathered here at this time, to see people in ceremony, to see people dancing, see people hugging, see people eye gazing, writing, creating art, the many things that we would do as shifters in this space, coming together, creating our own little celebration, our own ceremony as tribe. And so in the intention of this practice, familiarize yourself with this space, observe it, and make the details as rich as possible. And as you do, you pour your love into these details. You crystallize this. You crystallize not only the space, but also your connection to the reality of it. You create a neural pathway so that you may return to it through the details of your imagination. And so walk up to the tree right now, get close to it, and gently place your hands on it. And as you do, breathe with the heart of the tree, feeling the pulse through your hands, and even if you want to, moving right into placing either your forehead against the tree or hugging the tree and imagining yourself doing this. And literally, as you hug this tree or connect with this tree in any way, just breathing in, gentle inhales, gentle exhales. And on this next breath, as you breathe in, allow yourself to breathe in what essentially feels like what is the love of Mother Goddess herself. Breathing it into your heart, letting it fill you like a cup full of love. And as you do this, you reciprocate as you pour your love into this tree. And through this cycle, you crystallize this tree. You help it grow as it helps you grow. And so just feeling any energy sensations through the body, allowing yourself to be here in this moment, to be present. There is nowhere else you need to be right now. You are fully present in this space, using and flexing your imagination to bring as much detail and awareness into this space, into this moment. And so as we breathe here again, just feeling the energy as we imagine it being pulled up through the roots of the tree, right from the crystal at the heart of the earth, and feeling that vibration of love moving up through every single root, into the trunk, through your body, and expanding out above in the branches and reaching in towards the sky, into the heavens, as you feel the energy not just from the roots, but the energy from the heaven being brought down through the branches into the trunk and into your arms, into your heart, feeling yourself intimately connected And so, just take a few moments here to breathe. That is all you need to do. Just be present here, connecting with your breath, feeling the love, focusing on the feeling, feeling a sense of home, a sense of warmth, a sense of familiarity. Good. And so just take a few more moments here before eventually we will conclude this short practice as you pour your love into this tree. You pour your focus, your time, your attention into this space. You bless it. You sanction it. You bring it into form. You connect with the reality of it simply by being present within your own imagination. So as you imagine yourself connecting with the tree, hugging, placing your forehead on it, just take a few more breaths here. Gentle inhales, gentle exhales. And even in this, speak to the tree. Express your gratitude to it, not just to it, to the universe, to Mother Goddess. And even ask it to guide you back, to show you the way back. You are creating the way yourself, yet you can still ask for guidance to be able to find that way back. And as you do this, let it plant that intention for you to return to this space in your dream time, in your meditations, in your thoughts, and in your heart. For this tree symbolizes our connection. This tree symbolizes our community. This tree symbolizes our tribe. So feel the love of that, of the tribe, of the purpose that we collectively share, of the bigger story that we are all on, and feeling the love of Mother Goddess moving through the tree into your heart, knowing that you are seen, that you are honored, and you are loved infinitely. So thank you to those of you on this journey. On behalf of the universe, thank you. As the universe speaking through this voice you are hearing now, merely to remind you of what you can say to yourself at any point. Thank you for growing, for expanding, for as you expand, we expand. As you expand, the universe expands. God expands through you, through us. And so take a couple deep breaths here, really connecting. Gentle inhales, gentle exhales. And again, just observe this feeling right now, being in theta right now. That slow breath, that slow rhythm, yet that receptiveness and that openness to creativity, connection, and source. You are in a waking dream. You are awakening to your own lucidity, to your birthright. And so with a few more breaths, slowly, as you conclude this short and intimate ceremony with yourself, expressing any words of gratitude to the tree, to the universe in this moment, literally talking to God, privately as you are. And after a few more breaths, slowly, when you are ready, gently imagine yourself pulling back from the tree, maybe just placing one hand on it at this point, thanking it again. Maybe even just giving it one more quick hug. I know sometimes goodbyes, you want to stretch them out a bit, so give it another good hug for good measure. Say thank you. Not just to the tree, but to all beings, to your ancestors, to your children, to you, to me, to us. Right here. You can. You have that power. You have that gift. You have this opportunity. Thank you for what it is received. And so you step away from the tree when you are ready. You look around again and you see everyone here celebrating in this moment. You observe and you feel what it's like to be in this space, in this celebration, this festival, this transformational portal. And then you imagine yourself gently sitting down at the base of the tree, sitting down with your back to the trunk, and sitting down in lotus position or whatever position's comfortable for you, maybe even just casually with your knees up and your arms around them. And you imagine yourself closing your eyes within this meditation as we begin to bring ourselves back to our physical body. And you breathe here a couple more times as you remember and connect to the feeling of the branches of the tree literally being your branches. So you feel the connection of the roots going down, of the branches going up, connecting to the sky, to the earth, as above, so below. And so take another couple gentle breaths here. Gentle inhale, gentle exhale. And use this time, set this intention. You will return here. Set that intention for yourself. I will return here. I will meet you there. We will meet each other there. We have this space for ourselves. There is no distance between us. This space exists within us. We have created this space, or at least we are privileged to be able to use it and to share it. And we help create the bridge to it through our intention and our love. So with another breath here, gentle inhale, gentle exhale. Feeling whatever you're feeling right now, just take note of it. Good. And with the intention set, with the seed planted, with the connection formulated, slowly we will begin to transition our awareness back to our physical body. And slowly as we do, we'll still maintain calmness of the breath, bringing the intention deeper into our hearts, continuing to practice this as a meditation on our own time. We gently begin to transition our awareness from this meditation practice back into our physical body, and gently, with gratitude still in your heart, begin to bring your awareness back to the space around you. Gently wiggle your fingers and your toes, and when you are ready, you can gently open your eyes. Good. Good. So just take a moment here to just even still kind of feeling like this theta state, this theta mode. Don't be in a rush right now. Just ride that wave. Allow it to last. Allow yourself to experience this as this broadcast just slowly comes to an end. So things feel a little slower, but at the same time, things feel open and receptive. So thank you again, everyone, for being here. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being a part of this sacred ceremony that we've created here together as a team. It is always an honor, a privilege, and a duty for us to be able to co-create this space together. So I am deeply honored to be able to be here with you guys, you girls, you humans, you beautiful Earth aliens. So dreamers, right? So thank you again, everyone. We'll just pass the talking stick around for the Forrest Turner and Evan still in the chat, and just final moments of closing gratitude, and then the broadcast will be officially wrapped up. I'm not going to bother refreshing the Patreon because it might crash the browser again, but again, we'll do the Patreon plug before we close off too. But for anybody in the live chat, please feel free to just leave some comments on how that brief meditation was for you. Were you aware of your theta state? could you feel what that felt like for you? So just opening up, Ron, I'm just going to pass it over to you first, if that's cool with you, and just any thoughts on the meditation and just closing gratitude. So
Sure, yeah. I definitely feel like I could go to sleep now.
yeah, ride it.
Yeah, wonderful meditation. Yeah, it was just a reminder that I got to connect to the tree more. You know, I do connect with trees on a regular basis, but this particular tree in particular, I feel very positive energy coming from it. So yeah, let's work with it. And yeah, just thank you for the meditation, and thank you everybody for your time. And I learned a lot from everybody, and it was just really good energy. And I wish everybody has pleasant dreams, pleasant lucid dreams, because we are the radical dreamers.
Yes. Awesome. Sweet. Thank you.
Aho.
Aho. Thank you, Ron. Always appreciate what you bring to the circle. Thank you, man. Sweet. All right. We'll just check in. Turner, Evan, if you guys want to unmute yourself, manually do that, and I'll bring up your microphones. I know you guys probably couldn't hear Ron there, so Evan, if you want to share anything, go ahead. And I'll confirm if I can hear you. Yeah, go ahead, Evan. Yeah.
Again, just absolute thankfulness for all of you, gratitude to all of you who are listening now and in the future. I'm so grateful to be part of this experience of life with all of you, and that the fact that we even exist, and to have this amount of optimism of the future that can't even be put into words. Truly feeling more and more grateful. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you as well, Evan. Appreciate it, man. Cool. And thank you on behalf of Turner as well. Turner left the chat, but again, thank you to everyone for being a part of this broadcast. And yeah, just kind of like riding the mellow state as this broadcast comes to an end. And, you know, if maybe you're listening to this at the end of the day, let this kind of carry with you into your next ceremony, whatever that may be it your dreams or anything else that you're doing on your day-to-day journey. So yeah, again, you know, intentions out of this, let's just like really collectively help hold each other accountable as community. The dream practice thing is something incredibly important, incredibly valuable, and there's so much rich mystery and just value to be continued to explore there, and not just for us. Like, let's literally put the work in now to consider where we could be in like 7 years from now, you know, by 2025. Let's really work towards the idea that like by then, just imagine and really literally imagine what we can open up to within like the codes that we are unlocking within us, within our dream practices. And so keeping it grounded, but really being aware of like the magic that's already here. So yeah, huge love to everyone. So with that said, thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this. If you're listening to this in the present time or maybe even the future, be sure to check out the broadcast after this for the guided meditation that we're going to do, which is going to be focused around kind of like a dream meditation. I'm going to plan something special for that for everyone. And yeah, so if you enjoyed this, be sure to check out that broadcasting live Sunday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, October 25th. And yeah, again, tune in for regular roundtable broadcasts for next Thursday. Next Thursdays is actually going to be Paradigm Shift Destiny School once again. That's the last Thursday of every month. The topic for this week's broadcast, the week coming up for Destiny School, is going to be on spirits, Sasquatch, and the paranormal. So really looking forward to that one. So you can too. That's going to be in theme with Halloween, obviously. So inviting you guys to join in, do some research about like weird, bizarre, paranormal stuff that you might want to share, spirit stuff. We'll have fun talking with that one, and we'll see where it goes. So looking forward to that. And again, inviting you guys to join the Discord chat. That's really getting a lot of life brought into it. There's a lot of value there. It's a place where we hang out between broadcasts to support, connect, and as I said, to hang out, connect, and support as community. And again, thank you for everyone for participating there. And of course, inviting everyone who's listening to this, if you haven't already, to be sure to check out the team Patreon. And if you're able to, sign up. If you're not able to right now, totally cool. Equally appreciate either way. Keep putting your energy where you need to. It's all part of the bigger story, as I commonly say. If you are able to sign up for the Patreon, help us reach our team milestone 150 and beyond. And again, that's at patreon.com/Brendon Culliton. $5, $3 to $10 monthly donation. Get your first shifter booster kit. And you can also check out more of the items available at questitemshop.com as well. And that will also help support the project. And be sure to follow me at Mystic Spider-Man on Instagram. Look up Paradigm Shift Radio on iTunes. And again, you can find all the links super easily anytime if you just go to live.paradigmshiftcentral.com, and stay tuned for there, because you'll be seeing a lot more community content coming in the coming weeks, and inviting you guys to be able to participate and even add your quest journals, including your even dream recall quest journal. So just if you have like a crazy dream, be sure to consider the option of writing it down, documenting it, and then uploading that into the Paradigm Shift Central website as a quest journal as we continue to document the shift in consciousness together. So very, very powerful ideas that we are creating here as a community. And of course, last thing, just encouraging you to continue to keep carrying the shift with you. Go out there, help create paradigm shift communities where you are, open-minded discussion, meditation circles. Anyone can create one where you are. This is about activating the leader within ourselves, the light guardian, the dreamers. So thank you for continuing to become a better dreamer within this dream. Being here, you have leveled up. So super appreciated. Let's continue to embody and integrate what it is that we get from these broadcasts. So awesome stuff. All right, so with that said, thank you again, everyone, for being a part of this. If you listen to this broadcast, be sure to like it on YouTube, leave some comments down below, engage, invite your friends to what it is that we got going on here. And as always, keep it shifty, and we will see you guys in the future. So until next time, this is Brendon, aka Skull Babylon, on behalf of all the other shifters here. Much love, and yeah, dream on.